is a presentation of Prime Sports.
After losing their first 6 games of the season, the Aeros have rebounded to win 2 in a row. Houston's playing its best hockey of the year thanks to the addition of Paul DiPietro and Sylvain Turgeon. And the play and goal of Rob Dobson's been spectacular as well. Tonight, the Aeros go for 3 in a row. It's Hockey Night in Houston next on Prime Sports. Live from the Summit in Houston, Texas, Prime Sports and the Houston Aeros present International Hockey League action. Tonight, the Houston Aeros take on the Atlanta Knights. A very pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Summit. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay, the Aeros and the Atlanta Knights. And Greener, a team that you played with a couple of years ago, won the Turner Cup. I know you got some memories about these guys.
Well, you always have fine memories when you play with guys like this, and I certainly do.
Yeah, I know you're looking forward to this one. But the Aeros are looking forward to building on their 2-game winning streak, coming off wins against the Detroit Vipers and the Indianapolis Ice. And the Aeros picked up a big win against the Detroit Vipers because of a big line of Sylvain Turgeon, Vadim Slivchenko, and a guy that flew 14 hours on an airplane to go get a goal and an assist, Paul DiPietro.
Well, he steps off the plane and he does a job like he's been practicing with the team for a week or 2 weeks. So this guy's definitely got some punch, and the Aeros are going to really need him, and he'll play well with guys like Turgeon and Slivchenko.
And you talk about Slivchenko. This guy has been on fire. He is quietly etching himself a start to this season.
Well, he leads the team in goals with 5. He also has 5 points in his last 5 games. So, and a good thing is you look at his plus minus, he's even. So he's also doing the job defensively.
Terry Ruskowski has been preaching the defense all year long for this guy. In fact, last year when he played for the Aeros, and that takes us to our Oshman's game plan. It's brought to you by Oshman Super Sports USA.
Well, defense comes first with the Aeros. They have the ability to score goals. We've seen that. They just have to take care of themselves and help their goalies out a little bit. Secondly, produce on the power plays. Their power plays is 18th out of 19 in the league. They have the talent to do that. They should do something with that man advantage. And last, Drulia, Gregg, and Ruff. What can you say? These 3 guys are in the top 20 in scoring in the league so far. They'll tear you apart if you don't neutralize them. But if you do, it can send you a long way onto winning a game.
I don't think there's a finer 1-2 punch in the IHL than Stan Drulia and Jason Ruff. When we return, we'll visit with the head coach of the Aeros, Terry Ruskowski. That's next. Houston Aeros Hockey on Prime Sports is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Fly Southwest, the low-fare airline. By your participating Texas Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep and Eagle dealers. By Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation, a new commitment to healthcare together. By Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines. Add more life to your car, take it to the stars. And by the Gatorade Company. If you're living life to the fullest, you're gonna get thirsty. That's why you need Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Life's a sport, drink it up. Welcome back to the Summit, everybody. Adam Gordon alongside head coach Terry Ruskowski. The hockey club has won 2 in a row, and I think you're finally starting to see the signs of everybody playing well together.
Well, we're starting to play as a team, and that's the most important part, and the individual skills are there, but when you start to play as a team, you see the results on the scoreboard, and we've been playing well as a team. We finally realized that once we do pass the puck and move the puck and go to the net, the things that we were taught to do earlier in life, that things can be pretty successful.
Mike Greenlay tabbed the line of Slivchenko, DiPietro, and Turgeon as maybe one of the more devastating lines in the IHL. Would you agree with that in time?
Well, in time, I think that could very well be a possibility. They're all talented, and they all can score, and they can skate pretty well. So I'm hoping so. As a coach, I'm hoping so.
Sure. With all the positives that's going on, one small concern would have to be the power play. Any changes on that?
No, I don't know what what else I could do. We practice that more this year than we ever did last year, and it seems like it's less successful this year than last year. I just don't understand why. We've got to move the puck around real quick, and then maybe get them stopping, and then putting our play into effect. But it seems like they're not giving us a chance to get our play in effect. And once we shoot the puck on it doesn't seem like we're getting the rebounds or that deflections in front. So hopefully with time we can resolve that problem and score some goals in the power play.
Well, I know you're looking for win number 3 in a row, and the best of luck tonight.
Well, thank you, Adam, and we'll try our hardest to have that 3 in a row.
All right. Head coach Terry Ruskowski looking for win number 3, and we'll have the play-by-play action when we return. We'll be right back. Welcome to the Summit, everybody. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay, the Aeros and the Atlanta Knights. And we get set for the first time these two teams meet this year. And the Aeros trying to make it 3 in a row. The Atlanta Knights have dropped 2 in a row. They fell 4-0 to the Orlando Solar Bears, and then last night lost 5-2 in Cincinnati. So this is their 3rd game in 3 nights, and I'm sure they're semi-ripe for the picking.
Well, the Aeros, although they have won the last 2 in a row, still will have a tough task of beating this team as they bring a pretty well-rounded team to the Summit tonight.
Taking a look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. For the Atlanta Knights, Doug Burrell, Reggie Savage, along with Alan Eglin, with LaPerriere and Drew Bannister defensively, and in goal, Derek Wilkinson. As we drop the puck and we're underway, we'll catch the Aero lineup as it's Freer skating to center with Arneal and Conroy. Boy, did they play well the other night against the Vipers. Puck near side, O'Connor chipped it down into the corner, looking for Freer. It came right out. Conroy hit the post, comes right out and cranked it off the post. And the the Knights will come away with it. Burrell a drive, and Dobson makes the save, and he will hold on. I'm still back to Friday night. And now we'll take a look at the Aeros starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Scott Arneal, Al Conroy, Mark Freer, with the defensive units of Miles O'Connor and Steve Jakes. And in goal, Rob Dobson. And I don't know what more we can say about the Dobber. He has just been on fire in his last couple of starts.
Well, he certainly has been hot, and you always got to go with a hot goalie, as they say. And you see Terry Ruskowski sticking to the rules, as Dobson is 2-2 this year with the 3.49 goals against average. That places him 16th in the league among his fellow goaltenders, and that's pretty good, especially with the start that the Aeros had this year.
Fellow brethren, right?
Yeah, the goaltenders union, they call it.
Off the face-off, Aeros have it, and Miles O'Connor will play it in behind his net. A pass is chipped to the near side, and Jakes romps to center. Lead pass, just missing Freer. Puck goes deep. Wilkinson out of the net. Chipped it along the boards. Alan Eglin gathers it in. Heads it behind the net for Bannister. Drew Bannister. Near side Burrell. Hit him in the skates. Arneal trying to knock it free. Arneal looking in front for Freer, but it was pushed away by Bannister. And the Atlanta Knights come to center. Bannister flipped it into the Aero zone. Dobson out of the net to slow. Runs it near side, and Arneal will come away with the puck. Scott Arneal, long lead pass to center ice for Al Conroy. He will dump it into the Aeros. We'll make some changes. And that will bring out the Turgeon line with Paul DiPietro and Vadim Slivchenko. Out come the Knights, go across the line. Left side, Corey Spring trying to lob it into the near corner. Christian Campbell pursued. Turgeon in there. He was pushed off the puck, and Laniel is there. Chips along the boards. Aeros trying to move it out, cannot. And the Knights have it along the far corner. Corey Spring, give it to Campo. Back to the line. Here's the drive that was blocked as Adrian Plavsic let it go. Puck for Jeff Palms, knocked away. Slivchenko banks it up and out of the zone. Eric Dubois, he's got the big face shield on because of an incident last year in Kansas City where Alexander Trebayev cross-checked him in the face and a broken jaw. Slivchenko lets the shot go, and Wilkinson will make the save and hold on with 2 minutes gone in the first, no score.
You know, Atlanta this year is 5-4, but in those 4 losses, when they've given up the first goal and then gone into the first intermission with trailing, those are the 4 games that they've lost. So I'm sure the Knights are going to be sitting there saying, well, we got to get the first goal, but then again, the Aeros probably know that statistic as well.
Head coach Terry Ruskowski has liked the way his team played. He's not making any changes in his lineup. Mike Maurice a scratch with Curtis Hunt. And
well, I'm sure Terry, like I said, when he sees a good thing, he's got to stick with it, even if it means sitting a couple guys out. And you look at a guy like Troy Gamble, who's played very well, but when Dobson's playing well, you got to go with him.
You know Gamble will have his chance, and he will make the most of it.
He certainly will.
I wouldn't be surprised even if the Aeros won. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Gamble, though, Wednesday in Kalamazoo. His old stomping ground.
That's a good call. He probably knows that rink better than anybody.
Puck is centered, chipped away by Dobson. It's jumped on by Malgunas, and he'll move it out at center. And then he gives Halkitis a bit of a shot. And it's turned around by LaPuma. Up to the line, not out. Held in at a point by Donnelly. Puck came out in front, and it was shot in there by Yo. And now one of the Aeros getting tossed around, Scott McCrory. Halkitis was in there as well to push around with 2.5 gone in the first, no score.
Well, we'll have another look at that one. I think the puck gets eventually dumped behind the net, and it's just brought out and tucked into Wilkinson's skates, and he kicks it around a little bit and covers it up, but it does end up squirting loose. But I think the whistle went by that time, and nothing came of that. Wilkinson this year is 3-2 with a 4.33 goals against average. And as we said, here's a second-year guy that plays like a veteran.
Like he's been playing 20 years. Puck to Donnelly. The shot and a stick save made by Wilkinson. And it's cleared to neutral ice. Yo rolls one to McCrory. And it's back into the Atlantanite zone. And the Aeros making changes with Stan Drulia's line out there. That immediately brings out Al Conroy. And I'm sure Arneal will probably be right there to follow. Puck at neutral. Brought in by Drulia. Left side into the circle. Cutting right in on goal. Then he was forced behind the cage. We're going to get a whistle. And we're going to get our first penalty of the night. It's going to be a holding minor. And we'll see who it's against.
I think Stan Drulia drew the penalty as he took the puck behind the net. You'll probably see Jim Pack going to the box there for holding. And, you know, Stan Drulia tried to make that little move around Pack, and Pack just pushed him aside and I guess essentially held him, not allowing him to get that puck in front of the net where he wanted it to be.
So the Aeros will be short-handed, and they did a very fine job the other night against actually a very talented Viper power play. But held them off without a power play goal as Pack sits 2 for holding.
Well, as you said, the Aeros have been doing very well on their penalty kill, but the Knights have had a little bit of trouble on their power play as of late. In their 12 in a row they haven't been able to convert on. So I'm sure the Aeros are hoping it turns into 13 right now.
Off the face-off, it's Mark Gregg. Slipped it down for Jason Ruff. Ruff right circles. Gets it down for Savage. Face of the right circle. Savage for Ruff. Back to Savage. Reggie Savage into the circle. Slammed it back down for Jason Ruff. He's looking for Julia out in front. Puck came to line. Gregg centered the shot. Was deflected away by, I believe, Savage, but got a stick on it. Aeros can't clear. It is Julia back to the line. It's held by the Atlanta Knights. Gregg slipped it back for Ruff, looking for Gregg again at a right point. Long shot deflected by Savage. It bounces to the far side. Conroy turned and cleared it all the way down the ice.
Now you notice Savage standing at the left side of the net really close. He's going to look for the deflection, and if he doesn't get it, he's going to pass it right across to Stan Drulia. Watch for that down low.
He's a big man trying to move him out of there. Puck brought in across the line. Daniel LePerrier centered one. It was knocked away. Aeros can't clear though. Mark Gregg at a right point. Pushed off the puck by DiPietro. Aeros trying to get it out of there. Laniel scooped it free, but Jason Ruff takes it over. Back to the line. Gregg, top of the slot. Left side, LePerrier to Gregg. Looped it down. The one-time shot by Ruff, and I think Dobson got a piece of it, and then it sliced up over the glass and out of play. 4 minutes gone in the first period. 54 seconds left in the Jim Pack minor, and a scoreless hockey game.
Well, you look at the number one line for the Atlanta Knights right now, and that's obviously. Well, at least their power play. They have Drulia, Ruff, and Savage up there, and you had Gregg back on the point trying to quarterback things back there, and they weren't able to convert on their power play.
Talking about the Atlanta Knight power play, it's 15th in the IHL, 15.4%. But the Aero penalty killing, as you say, it's 17th, but slowly getting better. Puck goes down. Gord Donnelly in his own zone. Turns around away from the check of Jeff Tom. Fired right off the entrails of Arneal, but he got it down the ice. Eric Dubois. He will go back to play for Adrian Plavsic. Played many seasons with the Vancouver Canucks of the NHL. Of course, part of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Eglin, right side, got it back to the line. Dubois could not hold, and it goes right back down the ice.
You know, you talk about guys like Gregg, Julian, Ruff, but right behind them is this youngster Jeff Toms, who's really stepped out this year and started scoring. He has 9 points already this year, so keep an eye on that kid.
Eglin loaded into the boards by Donnelly. The Knights keep the puck deep. Corral in there behind the cage, looking for Jeff Toms. Watched by Donnelly. Donnelly shoves him off, but he stays with the puck. Jeff Toms, right circle, getting set with 7 on the power play for Alan Eglin. Back to the line for Dubois. Left side, Plavsic sends one right back. Eglin shooting. Dobson went down and made the save. And then Eglin giving a rough ride into the boards, as it was Mike Yeo that gave him a pretty good shove, but the penalty is over, and teams are at 5 aside. 5 minutes gone in the first, and we'll be back with more hockey in a moment. But first, this word by Southwest Airlines.
Welcome back to the Summit. No score here as the Knights try on their power play to get something going, and Eglin, I think if Eglin would have taken that shot immediately, he would have had a better chance of scoring, but he stops the puck, then shoots it, and Dobson, and by that time, was all the way over there covering the lower part of that net. He does that so well.
Could those be some future Aeros?
Possibly. They look like tough kids.
Yeah, I think they pushed the usher out of the way just for those seats. They were kind of wailing away at him. Shots are 3-2 at this point in favor of the Aeros, and the puck controlled by Arneal in his own zone. Arneal chipped it off the boards, couldn't get it out. Puck still in, it came down. Doug Baral shooting. Dobson stopped it. Rebound, the shot, and it never made it through to Dobson. Eglin, base of the right circle, chipped it down Baral, but it came behind the net for Savage. Waiting, still trying to move it out in front, and he was split up by Jakes. And now Mark Freer. Freer getting it to the line. It's out at center. Arneal gives it to Conroy. Back for Freer, who was offended on the play, and we're going to get a penalty on the Atlanta Knights for tripping, I believe, or they're going to call it hooking, actually, with 14:39 to go in the first. No score, but Aeros on the power play.
Well, we talked about the power play and the keys of the game, and obviously we're going to have to see the Aeros do something starting pretty soon. Both power plays are pretty lethargic right now for both teams, and you see Freer breaking free there, and Freer's trying to create things right now, and Eglin just gets a little bit of hook on it. They call that water skiing, when you put your hook on their hip and just go for a ride. You know, Freer went down.
You look at Mark Freer, and I guess the question, does the word or the letters FR Freer stand for frustrated right now? After the game against the Vipers, he was so close.
Well, he is frustrated, but I think he's also a veteran player, and he knows what it takes to get back into it. I'm saying watch for him to come up big one of these games with a good 2-3 point performance and break out of that, because he's just too good of a player not to get that way.
Aeros power play is 18th in the IHL at 12.3%. The Atlanta Knight penalty killing also 18th at 73.7%. So the Aeros on the man advantage first time tonight. It's shot into the Atlanta zone. And to the near side, Julia trying to clear. It was swept down. Out in front it came, and LaPuma belted it. Not out. Held in. And the Knights are back. It is Mark Gregg, and he chipped it out at center. You know, the Aeros did not score a power play goal against Detroit, which was the first time all year they at least didn't score on the power play. Freer, right side. So you sit there and you wonder how they get so low a power play percentage. Well, a lot of numbers, 1 of 9, 1 of 8. Arneal feathers a pass to the near side. It went over the stick of Ruff and too far for Laniel, and Laniel goes back to his own blue line. Gives it back to Arneal. Power play down to a minute 13. Here comes Conroy at neutral ice. Lead pass. Freer went off his stick. He goes after it, though. LaPuma's got him sized up in the corner, and LaPuma got partial piece of Freer. Left side Arneal to the line. Laniel. Mark Laniel fakes the shot. Gives it to Arneal. Right back to the line for Conroy. Here's Laniel winding, shooting. Knocked in front. Loose puck. Townsend can't pull the trigger. Centered the shot. Oh, Wilkinson down in front. And Scott Arneal was at point blank range, and a frustrated Scott Arneal trying to get it up and over Wilkinson. Couldn't quite get it over with 50 seconds remaining in the Anglin Minor. 13:28 to go in the first. No score.
Well, Arneal in front there couldn't get the play up, but before that, Townsend, it seems like he can't get the hook on it either. He tries to spin around, and all he can do is feather it across. Arneal is mad with himself because he kind of flubbed that one off the end of his stick, and normally he would rifle that one right upstairs underneath the bar, but he couldn't get the wood on that one.
You brought up the point in the last game. Arneal does not have the hardest shot, but boy, does he have accuracy, and you don't see Scott Arneal do that.
Well, that's one thing about Arneal in practice. He'll come down on you, and he'll wind up for like a half slap shot, and you'll say, oh, I got him, and all of a sudden it's going off the post, or he's turning the puck on its side between your pads, and you're going, how does he do that? But he's just a talented player, and like you said, it all has to do, every time I bug him about it, he says all it has to do is make it across the line.
Another 2 minutes up on the board to Chris LaPuma. So now the Aeros have a 2-man advantage for 50 seconds. Hopkidis, though, for Atlanta to the line, not out. Held in O'Connor, defensively paired with Laniel. O'Connor, top of the slot, Laniel, left circle, getting set. He looks for Turgeon, drifting in, dropped it back to drive, right on Wilkinson to save, and he will hold on.
I think the important thing for the Aeros right now is just that, to keep shooting on a 5-on-3, because you outman the other team by 2 players. Therefore, you have that much more chance to get to the puck, and you got a guy like Miles O'Connor who has a good shot. I'm sure you're going to see them feed him at the top there, and they'll just keep closing in, and then just chip a pass over to O'Connor, and he'll let one fly. You see Chris LaPuma over there. He's a very aggressive defenseman, and I think his aggression got a little carried away on the aggression side and took another penalty, so they're 5-on-3 right now, the Aeros.
For another half minute. Laniel, top of the slot, Roland Slivchenko out there with Turgeon, Di Pietro. O'Connor right back to Slivchenko, waiting, dropped it down, Turgeon, base of the right circle. Sylvain Turgeon, still the puck, he winds, he shoots. Oh, it changed direction, I think it might have been partially deflected. Laniel left side, getting set, rolled it over to Turgeon, stumbling, bumbling, got the puck back though. Passo and gave it to Laniel. Left side, Laniel holds the puck, gives it over to Turgeon. Sylvain Turgeon with 5 on the 2-man advantage. Bumps the pass, O'Connor right back. Turgeon in front, but it was cleared by Halkitis, but not out. Held in Laniel as the 2-man advantage is over. 5-on-4. Puck was centered. O'Connor the drive, and a glove save made by Wilkinson, and a penalty coming up to Turgeon for interference. He bumped Derek Wilkinson, and that will cost him 2 minutes, and that will be the Aero power play.
Well, Turgeon frustrated on that one, as is Wilkinson made a heck of a glove save, but Turgeon carries it out and takes a penalty for it.
All right, 12:31 to go in the first, no score, and we'll be right back.
You ever hear anyone talk about life like you gotta chew it up and spit it out? You gotta want it so bad you can taste it. You gotta be hungry. If so, Gatorade has one question for you. You want something to drink with that? Because you're gonna be thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
32 bowl appearances, 33 Big A championships, 3 Heisman Trophy winners, 6 national championships. Celebrate 100 years of football excellence. 100 years of OU football. Wednesday night at 8 on Prime Sports.
Their season ended at the hands of the Rockets, while Houston went on to win the title again. It's a rematch of the Texas Shootout. Tuesday at 7:30, live on Prime Sports.
Welcome back to the Summit. Turgeon gets a penalty, but I'm not sure if he should have. He gets cross-checked in the back after that shot, and he goes careening into Wilkinson, and I think the referee only saw the last part of that. And that's why Turgeon's so mad, because the cross-check sent him flying into the goaltender, and the referee making the call, but it's interference on Turgeon, and the Knights will get another chance after a minute goes by on the clock to try and convert on their power plays, and there's another penalty coming up.
So the Aeros are going to be down a couple of men here. His pass came to center, just missing Savage, and Dobson will play, and that will be a whistle. And the Aeros are going to be down 2 men. We'll go 4-on-3 for about 53 seconds, and then the Aeros will be down 2 men after LaPuma returns.
Well, you see, and I think both you and I have seen a lot of calls right after the whistle, or right after the puck's dropped, I'm sorry. And the reason that is right off a face-off. A lot of times, if the draw is won, you do something different than when you lose the draw. If you win the draw, you usually hold up your players so it gives your defenseman a chance to move the puck and dump it in. Well, since this obstruction rule has come up, every time you hold someone up, you get a penalty, and that's why every time the pucks drop, the referee's looking very hard for guys putting their sticks or arms in front of players impeding their progress.
One of the guys you always have to watch on the Atlanta Knights, whether it's even strength, short-handed, is Stan Julia, and he's out there. And
oh, I'd like to say hi to some people back home. Stan's little daughter, Shawnee. How you doing, Shawnee? And TJ, his son, and his wife, Sharon. They're all watching the game with some more of our friends.
They know how good he is on the power play. Doesn't matter, even strength, short-handed.
He's a heck of a player, and they're going to have to key on him.
Arneal short-handed across the line, pushed off the puck by LaPerriere, and it's turned around by Mark Gregg. Pass to the left side of LaPerriere, so 4-on-3 for 35 seconds, and then a 5-on-3 the other way. Puck chipped back to the line, Julia rolled it down behind the net. Dobson out, and he will just spin it along the boards, but not out. Held in by Gregg. Quick pass over to the side for Julia, cuts in the shot. Dobson, great save in front, and it was pushed away by Arneal, but not out. Great stop by Dobson. Gregg, top of the slot, LaPerriere looks down low, give it back to Gregg, top of the right circle, waiting to the slot, LaPerriere shooting, and Dobson with a great glove save, snatching that from the jaws of the Twine. Highway robbery. Yes, Rob Reed Dobson with a great save, and he will hold on.
That must be his middle name, Rob Reed Dobson.
Yes.
Wow, what a save. And it all starts from here where Stan Julia gets the puck, and Stan Julia is so good at this, at faking the pass across, then turning the puck in. Dobson doesn't fall for it, makes a great save, and then someone tees it up from the point. I believe it's number 27 for the Knights, Daniel LaPerriere, and Dobson just like he's picking cherries or something, pulls that one out of the air. What a great save, because LaPerriere was right at the top of the circles, and that's a tough shot from that angle.
Puck back to center, and the Knights are there. In 5 seconds, they'll have a 2-man advantage for about 50 seconds, 55 seconds actually. And now the Knights on the power play, 5-on-3. LePerrier scoop one for Gregg, waiting, lets the shot go. It ricocheted wide. Drulia, base of the left circle for Atlanta. Left point, Gregg slipped it down for Stan. Drulia looks in front. Gregg to LePerrier, the shot, and it was blocked. I think O'Connor was the one who got in front of that. And right back down the ice it goes. Wilkinson quickly turns it up ice. Mark Gregg speeding through the neutral zone. Pass left side for a waiting Stan Drulia. He'll dump the puck in. O'Connor's the first one there. And Arneal will come away with the puck. And Arneal will shoot it down the ice, wasting no time. And the Knights have to go back.
Great jump by the Aeros on the PK so far tonight, Adam.
And the Knights to center. LePerrier for Reggie Savage. Barreling down the left side. Chipped away James, but controlled by Jason Ruff in the near corner. Jason Ruff, base of the right circle. Controls it down low for Drulia. Back to the line. LePerrier to Gregg. Cuts in the shot. Dobson stop. Rebound. And it's cleared to center. Here comes Turgeon back out on the ice. Turgeon left side. Trying to move around Gregg. He's in alone. And it's pushed away. And a penalty coming up to the Atlanta Knights. A great play by Sylvain Turgeon. Hooking the call. And that'll do it for the Knight power play. The Aeros will be back on the man advantage. 10:20 to go in the first. No score.
Well, there's only 1 second left on the McCrory penalty, but what a great play by Turgeon as he comes out of the box, picks up the puck, and then, of course, you have Mark Gregg. He's not a defenseman, so he uses any method he can to stop Turgeon. In this case, it was hooking, and the Knights will go into the penalty box. The Aeros, after 1 second, will come out and have the power play. Mark Gregg is a native of Alberta, same province I'm from, and he's a heck of an acquisition for the Atlanta Knights as they signed him this summer. And as you can see, he leads, he's one of the top, I think he's third in the IHL in assists. And he's also
in the box for two.
In the box for two.
10:20 to go.
2 minutes for looking so good.
Oh, and you would know. Face off to the left of Derek Wilkinson. Told you this was wrong. Alkita's cleared to the line. Not out. Held in again. Adrian Plavsic couldn't get it out as he was tied up by DiPietro. Chipped it back. Laniel. Right back to DiPietro. Give it to Laniel. They're just playing keep away right now. DiPietro down low. Turgeon, base of the right circle, looks in front, waiting to the line. Laniel right back to Sylvain Turgeon. Turgeon circling back. He's got a minute 35 on the power play. DiPietro with a puck, and it was jammed away, but not out. Held in by Laniel. Places it down low, and it's Sylvain Turgeon, base of the circle. Oh, and it was taken away by Plavsic, and the Knights will clear, but not out. Held in Laniel. Whiting shooting. Stop Wilkinson. The rebound, and it was cleared to center, and Carl Valamont will have to hustle back and play it with 9.5 to go in the first. No score, minute 12 on the power play.
You know, I talked to Derek Wilkinson, and I had last year. He likes to try and play like Felix Potvin.
Puck controlled, Slivchenko. It was dropped back, the shot, great save by Wilkinson. Oh, a blocker save and a beauty. And down the ice it goes. Great action here in the first period. 55 remaining in the Houston Aero power play. 9:13 to go in the first, still no score. Aeros speeding to center. Freer romps across the Atlanta blue line. Mark Freer to the line for Jake. Oh, and it's intercepted Drulia, but he's got a man to beat Conroy. Drulia across the line, makes the move, put Conroy to the defensive plan. It's turned around by O'Connor. Across the line he will come. O'Connor, pink line pass for Scott Arneal. Spins it back to the line. Jake winding, shooting. Stick save made by Wilkinson. And Doug Baralt will come to center, short-handed. And he will shoot it back into the Aero zone with 22 remaining in the Aero power play.
You know, if the Aeros hope to beat Derek Wilkinson tonight, they're going to have to get some bodies in front of that net to screen or deflect, because right now he's picking everything out of the crowd.
Miles O'Connor, lead pass to center for Arneal. Bringing it across the line, looks for Freer. Poke check, but it was offside. And the face-off will be at center. 8:28 to go in the first period. No score. 8 seconds remain in the Mark Gregg minor, and Mark Freer still trying to find the goal lights, but you know he will.
He will, and especially when he's playing with guys like Conroy and Arneal. I'm sure Terry and Dave Tippett are confident of that, and that's why they kept them together. He saw a lot of good things last game with those three guys, and he's going to see a lot more, I believe, if he keeps them together and lets them work a bit together.
A lot of power plays in this hockey game. Aeros 0 for 2 at this point, about to go 0 for 3, and the Knights 0 for 3 as well. Puck shot into the Atlanta Knights zone, and the penalty over teams at 5-a-side, so the Aeros are now 0 for 3 on the power play. Baralt lead pass, just too far for Mark Gregg, who came out of the box, and it's chipped away, and it's Miles O'Connor to center. Pass intercepted by Jeff Tom, but couldn't bring it in for he had a player that was in there. That is offside. And they'll bring the face-off to center ice. 8:05 to go in the first. No score in the hockey game. And we'll have more action from the Summit when we return. Welcome back to the Summit. No score in the hockey game. How are you, ladies? Hey, you know what? They look like they'd like to do a little dance.
Do a little dance and get down with the Houston Aeros. Join us Saturday Night Disco, November 4th at the Summit, featuring Casey and the Sunshine Band as your intermission entertainment. White polyester suits are not only allowed, they're recommended.
Yes, highly recommended. I will be there. You will be there.
A little chafing, but other than that, you should be okay.
Please don't light a flame around me. I'm very flammable that night. Puck controlled by LePerrier. Thompson, the stick save, and it's Miles O'Connor over to Laniel to the line, not out. Corey Spring slicing it on goal, but it was picked away. O'Connor and a lead pass, just missing Yo. Yo had turned his head to the right, puck came to the left, and he couldn't quite get there. And an icing call coming up to Houston with 7:48 to go in the first. A scoreless hockey game, and I want to remind everybody to stay with us throughout tonight's telecast, because coming up some point tonight, can't tell you when, but some point tonight, we're going to have our Watch and Win, our featured player tonight. So stay with us. Can't tell you who it is, but I know that it involves a trip to Las Vegas, the Imperial Palace.
I like to call it lost wages.
Well, you might. You might. There's certain individuals I know that go there and make a few bucks, but that's very rare. Head coach of the Atlanta Knights, a man you know pretty well, John Parrish Jr.
I do know him very well. He stepped in that year, 93-94, as coach, and took the team to the Turner Cup final and won. And of course, I was glad to be on that team.
Not many people realize he wasn't the coach that started that year. Gene Ubriaco was the guy that started and then stepped down just before the playoffs, I believe. The puck came in there and it was turned around by DiPietro. Lipchenko jammed it off the boards, not out, held in by LaPuma. O'Connor trying to move it along the boards. He's in a battle with Jeff Toms to the right side of Rob Dobson. They continue to grind it out. O'Connor doing very well along the boards, and now it is Paul DiPietro. Chipped it out for Slipchenko. He will turn, wrap it to the line and out at center. No, held in nicely. Corey Spring held it in, but the Aeros will turn it around, and Laniel gets one to neutral ice. Lupuma takes over. Lapuma's pass off the boards goes back to the Aeros side of center, and now it's back into their own end. Sylvain Turgeon, Laniel scooped the puck ahead, but Alcides is there. And the Knights turn it around. 7:05 to go in the first. No score, and the puck down, and we are going to get another penalty. It is going to be interference, and I think the Aeros are going to be nailed for this interference call. And it looks like Mark Laniel will go into the box. 2 minutes.
Well, I saw that play. It was along the boards, but I didn't see why Laniel got that penalty. But once again, that obstruction penalty comes into play, and now I see why. As he stood in front of the Atlanta Knight player rushing for the puck, it looked like Corey Spring, and that's another blatant obstruction penalty right there. And that's a good call. If that's what the rule's going to be, then that was a good call, because as you saw, Laniel put his elbow up and impeded Spring's progress, didn't allow him to get to the puck. That's called obstruction interference, and you're going to have to live with it, as is Terry Ruskowski.
Yeah, you're not too happy there, but I mean, that's a pretty good call. It's right there. Face off left side of Rob Dobson. Atlanta Knights 0 for 3 on the power play, but they've had 4 shots on goal. The Aeros just off their third. They're 0 for 3 as well. Puck control by Atlanta. It is Mark Gregg, a pass for Julia. He's given a bump by Jim Pack. Puck picked up by Atlanta again, though, in the Aero zone. Jason Ruff trying to scoop by Donnelly. It's picked up. Ruff back to the line. Gregg, right point. The shot deflected in front, and Donnelly will shoot it right back down the ice. And Donnelly takes a little look back at Stan Drulia and says something to him, and goes past. Drulia not known for dropping the mitts, but he's also known not to back down either. Puck control to Perrier, shoots it into the Aero end. Dobson couldn't slow, but Clear was there. Can he get it out of the zone? No, but a second effort, still not out. Ruff held left point. Jason Ruff looking in front, still with the puck. Get it back to the LePerrier, winding, shooting. Dobson, stop, rebound, score! In front of the net, Jason Ruff on the rebound. It's a power play goal, and the Knights lead this hockey game 1-0.
I tell you what, guys like Jason Ruff are good around the net, and that's a prime example why. He's like a vulture in there looking for that puck. And as the shot comes from LePerrier, a good save by Dobson, but no one touches Jason Ruff as he just fires that open side. And Jason Ruff just floating in there. And he had a wide open net. LaPerriere, like I said, a good slap shot down low, and there's no way that Dobson can react on the second shot as the puck comes off his pads, and it comes off his pads right on the rough stick, and it was like one motion follow through right into the net. And that's his 8th goal of the season, and that'll just keep him climbing up in the standings as far as the players are concerned in points.
Face off at neutral. LaPerriere will get one of the assists. Off the face-off, Knights lead it 1-0, and it's Eric Dubois. Right side in his own end, forecheck by Yo. Turn the puck around. Yo is dumped by Dubois, and there's going to be an obstruction call, I think, on Eric Dubois, and he will get tripping.
Now, you talked about that face shield that he has. It looks more like a football helmet. Last year, and I believe it was Nazarov.
I said, I said Cherbayev. It's Nazarov.
It was Nazarov. From what I hear, now I didn't see it, but from what I hear, he walked up and it was like a sucker punch, just like the Ty Domi punch on Samuelson the other week there when you saw it on TV in the NHL. And it was a sucker punch. It broke his jaw and put him out for quite a while last year.
Well, for the rest of the year.
For the rest of the season, that's right. And now he has to wear that to keep himself from, I'm not sure how long. I'm going to have to talk to him. I'm surprised I didn't ask him that, but he looked okay. That's why I didn't ask him. And now I see him with that on his helmet. I'm kind of going to ask him and say, how long do you have to wear that for?
Well, it might be a permanent thing. I mean, you remember Nicholas Anderson last year for Denver wore it from start to finish. That might be something that if he wants to play, he'll have to wear.
And is Michel Mongeau still wearing a face shield?
He's not even back yet. He will be back in January, I'm told, or late December perhaps.
He, of course, broke his cheekbone. He got hit into the crossbar.
Puck controlled, Slivchenko down, Turgeon centered the shot, tipped it, hit skates, rebound! And DiPietro stuffed one in there, but Derek Wilkinson covered up. And he will hold on. 5:46 to go in the first. Knights lead at 1-0. Boy, I just watched Derek Wilkinson, and it just takes me back to the way he played last year.
Well, look at how he covers the bottom line. You'll see him drop his stick as soon as he goes down. There goes the stick, and then he'll sweep it across the bottom of the net, and DiPietro just rams it right in there. As a player, I mean, we keep running into these goalies that are good along the knee, on their knees, good along the bottom of the net. Where that has to go straight upstairs, but you see DiPietro off balance, and he can't get it upstairs. If he had his balance, I'm sure you'd have seen him put that upstairs under the bar.
Are there similarities between his style and Freddie Chabot?
Well, you know, I like to say yes and I like to say no. They are very different styles, even though they both go down on their knees. You'll see Wilkinson stand up to make a lot more saves, but the good thing about Wilkinson is he squares himself to the play very well, and that's something that assistant coach Scott Gordon, who also used to be a goaltender himself and played for Quebec in the NHL, he teaches that, and Wilkinson's learning quickly.
DiPietro left side on the power play for a minute 41. Get it to the line, Conroy. Al Conroy for Paul DiPietro out of his reach, and it's taken back by Halkitis and cleared out of the zone. Conroy chases back in his own end. 5:28 to go in the first. Knights lead at 1-0 on a power play. Goal by Jason Ruff. Left side, Conroy chipped it in. Wilkinson comes out of the net and redirects, and we get a whistle. I guess the Aeros were offsides.
Might be a two-line pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was that's different. Oh yes, I understand now. As the puck's dumped in from the other side of center, if the Atlanta Knights would have touched it, it'd have been icing. But since the Aeros touched it, of course, it's called a two-line pass, and it's brought all the way back to wherever the originating pass was made.
Face-off at center. Referee Dean Warren
has called a lot of penalties tonight, but they've all been good calls. It's just he's got to call them as he sees them, and he has.
Mark Laniel. He'll play the puck in his own zone. You know, I'd really like to see how the NHL has handled the obstruction calls. You know, how the fans and the players react at the NHL level. I know here, just from us watching this, we've seen a lot of calls, and I think it's slowed the game down, to be honest. Arneal on the right wing boards of the hash marks, getting set, looks in front. Townsend getting pushed around by Alkitis. Here's the shot by Arneal, right on stop. Wilkinson, rebound in front. It's in skates. They poke away at it. Oh, they went upstairs. It was knocked free. Freer behind the cage, but he lost it to Trulia. Cleared to the line, not out. Jakes held it in with 44 on the power play, but it's taken away by Alkitis, and he will hoist it out at center. Laniel chases it down far boards. He's worked on by Reggie Savage, but it's picked up by Jakes. Lead pass Arneal across the line. Arneal dropped it back, chipped away, and Mark Gregg's got a break. Gregg short-handed, right in on goal. I don't see any signal to Dobson stop, and he did.
What a save!
Wow, there was no signal, and Rob Dobson stoning a 2 on nobody. Wow, Gregg Gregg and Perrault. 2 + 2 = 0. Wow, a great save by Dobson.
I tell you what, and the thing is, when goaltenders are in practice and they do things like 2-on-0s and 3-on-0s, goalies get so darn mad when the guys pass it back and forth until they score. Well, in this case, it helped them because Gregg goes to Perrault. Perrault tries to go back to Gregg, but look at Dobson. He said, hey, I've seen that one before. And what a save is. Oh my God.
Slimmy's done that one too many times on me.
I think so, and what a great save. It goes back, and watch how he sticks his stick out. For the young goaltenders watching tonight, that's an ideal stack of pads or a 2-pad slide because his arm was down, his stick was out, and that's what it does, is it negates a pass back across the net. What a great save by Dobson as he's just been stellar in his last 3 games. 104 out of the last 111 shots he stopped in his last 3 games. That's amazing.
Face-off controlled. To the left, I should say, of Rob Dobson. It's between Gregg and McCrory. Off the face-off, Jim Pack has got it. Pack chipped it behind the net for Gord Donnelly. Worked it right back for Pack. Power plays down to 10 seconds. Jimmy Pack in his own end. Forecheck by Gregg. Quick pass for Donnelly. And out come the Houston Aeros. A pass missed McCrory, and this will be icing unless Malgunas can get there. Bannister beat him to it. And play is halted as Dubois comes out of the box, and it'll be 5-on-5 when we return. Just under 4 minutes to go in the first. Knights 1, Aeros nothing. Folks, don't go away. Folks enjoying this one. Score not too pleasing right now, but it's only 1-0.
Well, a good power play goal by Jason Ruff, and the Knights, you give them enough chances on the power play. You give any team enough chances on the power play, and you're going to score.
How are you? Nice to meet you. A lot of fans really enjoying the Aeros, and with all the talk about pro sports and the salaries and everything like that, I mean, that's the common bond I keep hearing all the time with all the radio talk shows I'm listening to, and just even the ones that I've been doing on KPRC with Matt Thomas and Darren Jones, and Dan Patrick, about everyone just loves coming to the Aero games, and
it's a lot of fun. It's fast, hard-hitting action. It's kind of
you can take your family of 4. If you have a family of 4, I mean, you can come out here for a very inexpensive evening. Have great seats. Great seats. Off the face-off, Aeros get it to the line, not out. It was held in by Bannister, and the Aeros turn it around and come to center. Yeo trying to move it ahead. It was chipped away by Perrault and brought back into the Aero end. Mark Gregg left side, winds, fakes the shot. Gregg looped it down and was turned around by McCrory. And here come the Aeros to center. Malgunas have a chance. 2-on-1 with Yeo. They hustle, but Alan Eglin got back, so Malgunas the shot. And a nice defensive play by Chris LaPuma. Laniel worked it over to Miles O'Connor. It shot right on, and Wilkins had a little trouble, but he dropped it down to LaPuma. He'll ring it around the boards, and it's out at center. Laniel regroups for Houston, hoists it high into the Atlanta Knight zone, picked up by LaPuma. Quick pass for Drew Bannister. Here come the Atlanta Knights. Alan Eglin sidestep a check for Perrault. Gives it back. Eglin shoots. Dobson. Great save. Putt on top of the net. And play is halted as Jeff Toms tried to do one a la Jeff Bagwell and bat one in there.
He tried to. I don't think it would have been allowed as his stick was above above the crossbar. But gosh, you can't let Eglin step into the slot like this as he tees one up, and good save by Dobson. And there goes Toms reaching for the puck, but it goes on top of the net. And I'm sure Dobson was glad to see it rest on top of the net instead of rolling in. But you can't let Eglin come and tee one up from there, because I tell you what, most guys will pick their spot, and Eglin, a good player, fires a good shot. But Dobson, again, Dobson's very, very good challenging goalie, and that's why he's able to stop shots like that.
Eglin from Enchan, Alberta.
His brother plays for LA Ice Dogs, Tracy Eglin.
Yeah, puck was centered by, I think it went off the Aeros stick of Jim. It went wide, and now the Aeros back in their own end for Sylvain Turgeon, trying to get it out of the zone. Could not. Dubois held it in, pumped it back down low, but Jim Pack gathers it in. But it came right to Jeff Toms, cuts into the slot. Here's the shot. Oh, it went off the stick of Reggie Savage. Aeros having all kinds of trouble getting it out of their zone right now. Puck to the line. Adrian Plavsic held it in. Give it down to Jeff Toms. Reversed it down low. Savage giving a bump by Pack, but it's Jason Rupp with the hash marks left side, but it's tipped away by Slivchenko. He'll move it out at center ice. Slivchenko at neutral for Turgeon. Nice pass. DiPietro right in, but he couldn't center it as Dubois got over there. Slivchenko in behind the net, trying to move the puck along the boards. Here's Turgeon. Turgeon trying to move it through Savage. It came to DiPietro. Paul DiPietro stick handled through traffic to Turgeon. He was muscled off the puck, and it came to center. 2:13 to go in the first period. 1-0. The Atlanta Knights lead it. Puck came down to Derek Wilkinson. Turned around for Adrian Plavsic. Plavsic, long lead pass, center ice, Jason Ruff, who has the only goal of this hockey game, a power play tally. Puck goes into the Aeros zone, back is Miles O'Connor to touch, and icing is the call with under 2 minutes to go in this first period, and a 1-0 hockey game.
Well, so far you've seen a pretty defensive battle. I mean, both goaltenders making exceptional saves, and I don't know who does this kind of game favor someone like the Houston Aeros, or does it favor someone like the Atlanta Knights? I think if you look at both teams, they're pretty evenly matched up.
You know, the thing is, these teams are a lot alike. I think they both have very strong defensemen. They both have similar goaltenders. I mean, both teams are very strong in goal. And I think the question now is, it's the guys up front. As a shot by Conroy stuck aside by Wilkinson. And the Perrier chipped it off the boards. It'll come back to center ice. I look for a guy like Mark Freer to break out of it tonight. He's come close. Boy, did he have a heck of a game the other night against Detroit, but no goals to show for it. Mark Gregg the other way, speeding across the line, dropped it. Julia, quick shot wide of the net. Julia trying to pick it up. He was upended by Jakes. Now the puck in out for his shot. Great left pad save made by Dobson, and it's turned around by Arneal and picked up by Freer. 2-on-2 with Conroy. Freer at center, across the line, looking in front. Here is Freer, a long shot, heads up. A long lofted 9-iron that finds its way out of bounds, and that's a 2-stroke penalty for Freer, but face-off will remain in the Atlanta Knights zone with 1:22 to go in the first, and Mark Freer, oh man, I'll tell you, when the Aeros signed him last year, you knew that there were some big things coming from that guy, and the minute they put him with Scott Arneal, all of a sudden you throw in Al Conroy on that line with Freer and Arneal, just give them a chance to play together. They're going to be as good a line in the IHL as anybody.
And I think you're going to see that. And I mean, you talk about guys like Drulia and Ruff and how well they play together. Well, they've played together for some time. They've been given a chance to work together. I think you give someone like that a chance to work together, and you allow the Aero lines to work together, you're going to see some damage.
Did they dominate during the Turner Cup?
They did.
They were the 1-2. As Ruff cuts in. Nice move, right in on goal. Dobson, though, kind of stacking the pads, had to change his direction, and he will hold on. Wow, he was going to need satellite to try and negotiate through that traffic, and somehow Dobson averted that like an air traffic controller, said, hey, take it down left, downwind, and go to the left side. You're not coming in on goal, and he keeps it 1-0.
I'll tell you what, Jason Ruff, he has the ability to skate through about 20 people and keep the puck on his stick. I don't know how he does it. I think he's got some crazy glue or something, but he maneuvers his way through the defense, and then he makes a good move on Dobson, but Dobson pokes his stick out and doesn't give him any room around to shoot the puck. And that smart move by Ruff. He turned around and tried to bank it in off of Dobson's pads. That's something Stan really likes to do a lot. But good save by Dobson once again as he went out for the poke check, and he forced Jason Ruff wide of the goal.
Face-off right side of Dobson. Picked up by Gord Donnelly. He heads behind the net. Pass to Yo as we're down to the final minute. Yo brings it out at center. He'll shoot it into the Atlanta Knights zone. After it, Jason Ruff, McCrory gathers it in, base of the left circle. McCrory centered it, hit skates. Now it is Yo in the corner. Pretty good shot by Jason Ruff. They continue to grind it out, and away the Knights will come. Stan Drulia across the line. He is bumped by Donnelly, and a penalty coming up to the Houston Aeros.
I think it's going to be Malgunas for interference, and once again, he's not afraid to call that interference call. But the Knights will go on the power play once again.
So the discipline factor, which we have talked about at length over the last several games or so, continues to bite the Aeros. They came in top penalized team in the IHL, and they continue to get bit by the penalties.
And you know what, though, you look at that penalty on Malgunas, and it's not a discipline type penalty. It's not I mean, it's discipline in one sense, but it's not a retaliation call or anything like that. It's simply a hard-working penalty. He came down, he was working hard, he tried to get in front of the Atlanta Knight player, but he gets a penalty for it, and that's what's frustrating a lot of the players right now. You know, you look at some players, and that's most of their game is riding guys off and getting in front of guys, and you look at some of the big lumbering defensemen around even the NHL, and it's going to make their job so much tougher to stay there, because I mean, that's part of their game, is holding guys up like that. Well, now you can't do it, so you take away the biggest part of a lot of guys' game right now, and that's going to be tough.
Knights 1 of 5 on the power play, or 1 of 4 on the power play, excuse me. The only goal for Jason Ruff. Face off top of the far circle, and off the draw, the Aeros have got it. Miles O'Connor will spank it down the ice. Half a minute to go in the first. If the Knights don't score, they'll get a minute and a half to play to start the second period. It is Mark Gregg in his own zone, a pass to the left side, and it's controlled by the Knights. It was tipped back Halkitis into Mark Gregg, forechecked by DiPietro, and he'll feather a pass to Alan Eglin and bounce it out at center, but O'Connor rams it right back into the Atlanta Knight zone. Bob Halkitis with 7 seconds says, now we'll just take our time here, enough for maybe a rush, but there's only 3 seconds. Puck goes in, and the buzzer will sound ending the first period. So a 1-0 Atlanta Knight lead, and we get some pushing and shoving between Reggie Savage and Paul DiPietro right in front of the Aero bench. But the linesmen do a good job of separating that, and we're through with 20 minutes of action from the Summit. Our score, it's the Atlanta Knights 1, the Houston Aeros 0, and we'll be back to chat with Paul DiPietro right after this. Welcome back to the Summit, everybody. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay. The Atlanta Knights leading the Houston Aeros by a score of 1-0. And the Aeros, who, as we know, started off 0-6. They picked up a win against Indianapolis, and then Peter Dineen brings in Paul DiPietro and scores a goal and an assist the other night against the Detroit Vipers. And Paul, welcome to Houston.
Oh, thanks. Good to be here.
Are you starting to get a little acclimated to the Houston weather in the Houston area?
Well, it's pretty good, but I slept all day yesterday. I didn't really see sunlight after the little plane flight I was on there.
No, Paul, I mean, you climbed off the plane after 14 hours. You came all the way in from the rock, and you jumped on the ice like you didn't even miss a beat. How did that feel?
Well, you know, after the first period, I didn't think my legs made it past customs there for a while, but they made it after the first period, and I felt pretty good. But, you know, that was a long flight. I don't think I can do it ever again.
Now, you played very well, and you played with Slivchenko and Turgeon. How do you like playing with those two guys?
Well, Turgeon, Sliv, I don't know his last name. I know him by Sliv, but he's a pretty skilled player, and so is Turgeon. I'm used to Turgeon. I play with him in Montreal, and, you know, pretty skilled guys. All they have to do is get in the puck.
You know, that first period, a lot of up and down action, but a lot of penalties. Did you experience when you were playing both in the NHL this year a little bit and back in the A? I mean, were you experiencing a lot of the obstruction calls?
Well, in the NHL it was more obstruction calls. There's a lot. It was all power play and penalty killing. That's all it was for 2 periods. And, you know, I played 2 games in the American League and it wasn't as bad. But now this game is getting pretty bad. You know, it takes the flow away from the game, but, you know, a lot of power plays and a lot of penalty killing. There's only 3 lines that play each game, so ice time for everybody.
5 years ago, there probably wouldn't be much difference if I asked you between playing in the I and the A, but now there seems to be a little difference. Do you experience that already?
Well, I never played in the International League before. I played in the American League, but the American League is more of a development league. It's younger guys, and you know, 20, 21, 22. You know, I'm 25 years old, and I played in St. John's, and I was the oldest guy. I came to Houston. Now I'm one of the youngest guys, so you know, it's a good league down here.
Yeah, and you know, it seems like this particular game has opened up a little bit. What were your thoughts of that first period?
Well, it was. I know the penalties kind of slowed it down. You know, I think we had some chances. They had a lot of chances too, but it was pretty fast-paced. But now, hopefully, next period and third period, we'll take it to them.
Paul, you had a little chance in front there, and you couldn't quite get it up. Did you trip and get off balance, or what happened on that play?
Well, I forgot to take my skate guards off. You know, you got to usually take those off before you go on the ice. I was just over-skated the puck, and I tried to get it back, but...
You know, you come in... Sorry, Paul, just you get into here, and now all of a sudden you run into a hot goaltender, Rob Dobson. That's got to make things a lot easier for you guys, knowing that Dauber's been playing as well as he has been.
Dauber's playing well. I never heard of him before, but he's a good goalie. I know Troy Gamble, but I never heard of Dauber, but he's a great goalie, and he's going to carry us far away, both goalies.
All right, well, you know, it's been a lot of fun. You know, a lot of people have been talking and comparing already to Mario Chitteroni that played here, and a lot of comparisons. We think you're going to score a lot more goals.
Who's that?
We welcome you to Houston, and thank you very much.
Mario Chitteroni?
Mario Chitteroni, yeah.
Who's that?
Exactly, guy that played here last year,
oh, okay.
And a lot of people have drawn some comparisons, and I want to just welcome you to Houston.
No comparison, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Kidding. Bye.
Paul DiPietro joining us in the first intermission, and what an impact he has made.
Well, it's great to have a player like that. He's a real character, and he's going to help on offense. We said that. So it's, like you said, it's a Chitteroni Al Conroy, except he's going to add a lot of punch.
A lot more punch from Paul DiPietro. The Atlanta Knights will have the first punch. They lead at 1-0, and we'll have more from the Summit after this. Welcome back to the Summit. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay. A 1-0 hockey game. The Atlanta Knights leading it on a Jason Ruff power play goal. And let me just catch my breath here from that period. Wow, what a pace.
It was a great pace. The only problem, as was brought out by DiPietro, is when you get a lot of penalties, it sometimes slows that pace down. But even with all the penalties and power plays, we saw a lot of back end-to-end action, a lot of good goaltending.
And I guess the question is Rob Dobson still facing too many shots?
Well, sometimes it's not the amount of shots, but it's the quality of the chances they're giving. When you give a team high-quality scoring chances, odds say that you're going to get one or two of those, as they did on the power play there.
We talked about Rob Dobson playing well, but at the other end, I think the Aeros tested Derek Wilkinson pretty well, and he came up big.
Derek Wilkinson, we just keep telling you that this is a young man that has played like a veteran, and he made a couple very good saves there in the first period to keep his team in the lead. So once again, you see a young goaltender at one end and an older goaltender at the other end, and they're both playing excellent.
Let's take it to the highlights. And Jason Ruff, the only goal of that period, it was a nice power play go off a rebound.
Well, LePerriere get good slap shot, and like I said, Jason Ruff all in one motion. It was like he knew where the rebound was going to come, and that shows the quality of a player like Jason Ruff when he steps into it like that, because he puts himself in a position just to walk right into that shot.
Yeah, he's a hard man to move out in front of the net, Jason Ruff, and it's the classic thing your coach tells you, go to the net.
He did go to the net, and he had his stick on the ice. He did everything right, and he put it in the open side.
But Rob Dobson, he has been on fire, and a 2-0 really resulted into a nice save.
Well, it was kind of a 2-0, 2-on-1. Laniel falls down, but what an unbelievable save. I tell you what, I'm sure Greg says, I wish I would have cut more towards the net. I'd have had the puck all alone, but I tell you what, a great save by Dobson. I mean, here you get the goaltender's point of view. Two guys coming at you. What do? He makes a good stack, but he also covers himself on the far side and stops the pass. And that's just perfect goaltending on that play.
When you're Rob Dobson, or at this point any goalie, and you can see the way he slides across the net and he gets that stick down, I mean, is that instinct or is that just reflex because of all the practice?
Well, you say it is reflexes, but it's reflex through practice, and the way he moves and the way he jumps around and the way he makes everything look so smooth, it's because he's practiced it over and over again. So then when it happens, it happens naturally, and it looks so good. But I mean, these guys don't just step off the bus and do this. These guys have worked on it and practiced like this for years, so that's why he's so good at it.
You don't just step off the bus, huh? You've turned into a big fan of Rob Dobson here in the last couple of games. Just stand up. Yes, Dauber. Hey, we'll have more when we return. It's 1-0 Atlanta. We'll be right back. The Knights and the Aeros here at the Summit. It's 1-0. The Atlanta Knights leading the Houston Aeros. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay. And not a lot of concern, I think, about the offense. But before we talk about that, let's take a look at the first period stats. They're brought to you by your local Texas Chrysler Plymouth dealers. 14-13 shots on goal in favor of the Houston Aeros. Aeros 0 for 4 on the power play. That's still a concern. They are now going into 4 periods without a power play goal. And the faceoffs 16-14 in favor of Houston. The penalties 4 for 8 for Atlanta, 5 for 10 for the Houston Aeros. But offensively, what can the Aeros do better?
Well, as you see in that period, they had 14 shots, but you have to look at the type of shots they're getting. They're getting a lot of outside shots from the point. They're getting a lot of shots from the top of the circles. So, I mean, what they need to do is they need to get some guys in front, screen Wilkinson, and you need to get some guys in front because Wilkinson drops to his knees, makes a save. You got to have someone there to pick up the puck like Jason Ruff did in the other end.
All right. Well, a lot of people ask me, they go, Adam, what would happen if you and Greener couldn't do the games? There's our broadcast team for our next telecast. Hello, guys. They will be replacing us. I hope they can do the play-by-play. What we do know are the Knights leading at 1-0, and we'll have more when we return. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Summit. Adam Gordon, Mike Greenlay. It's 1-0 the Knights leading the Aeros, and we just pull anybody off the street to do a little color commentary. We've got Garrett Gamble. How are you?
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
You enjoying the hockey game?
Yeah.
I want to know now, who is the best goalie in the IHL?
Daddy.
Daddy? Is that Daddy there?
Yeah.
Is that? You want to say hi to him?
Hi, Daddy.
All right. Who's going to win the game? It's 1-0 Atlanta. Who's going to win this hockey game?
Daddy.
Oh, Daddy is from the bench. From the bench? How old are you?
6.
You're 6. You're smarter than I am. All right. That's Garrett Gamble, ladies and gentlemen. Wave hi to everybody. All right. There's Troy Gamble. He'll be back in the nets, I'm sure, very shortly. But right now, a hot Rob Dobson has been the man backstopping the Aeros, and it is 1-0 in favor of the Atlanta Knights. Don't forget now, the Knights get a minute 25 to work on a power play. That is what remains to a penalty to Kevin Malgunas, and that guy there, oh, is he on fire? Somebody put the water away.
Oh, he's smoking, and that's what you need. I tell you, you can go a long way on a you can ride the wave a long way with a hot goaltender, and right now right now they are riding it. They need a couple goals here, but I tell you what, with saves like Dobson's been making, I tell you, it gives the team a lot more confidence. It helps them open up a little bit offensively and allows them to maybe try something they normally wouldn't try because they'd be scared to let something happen defensively.
DiPietro starts it off with Arneal defensively, Donnelly and Pack. Reggie Savage, Jason Ruff, Stan Drulia with LePerrier, and also Mark Gray. Atlanta, when leading after the first period, are 3-0. Folks, they have not been, or they have not outshot an opponent yet this year, except last night was the first time all year that they've outshot an opponent. And they were outshot in the first period, 14-13. Puck in the Aeros zone. Stan Drulia on the man advantage. Base of the left circle. Watched by DiPietro. Cuts behind the cage. Sends one rough. The shot hit the side of the net. Back to the line. LePerrier looks for the pass. LePerrier scooped it down. Jason Ruff is there. Reversed it along the boards for Reggie Savage. Waiting was bumped by Arneal. And it's picked up by Pack. And now DiPietro has a couple of guys to beat, and he says, hey, I'll just dump it in right on to Wilkinson, and the puck is turned around. LePerrier through the neutral zone, ripped it into the arrow end. It'll slice behind Dobson, who will play it, and chip it along the boards. Drulia trying to control. Laniel is there. Laniel trying to kick it. He's in the corner, battling with Ruff, rolled it ahead for Arneal. Scott Arneal then just dumps it down the ice, and the penalty is down to 20 seconds. We're a minute into the second period. The Knights leading by a score of 1-0. Derek Wilkinson, harassed by Freer, cocked the puck up. Conroy there, shorthanded, and Toms will take it into the boards. They battle it out along the corner. Conroy to Freer. Mark Freer then just tossed it back to center, and the penalty is over. And Kevin Malgunas is back on the ice, and it's the puck goes into the Atlanta Knights zone. Malgunas left side looks in front for Freer. Instead reversed it behind the cage. Freer's got it base of the right circle, giving a rough ride into the corner, but Yo working hard, turned it out in front. It was chipped high in the air, and it will check up at center ice. Miles O'Connor chased it down in his own zone. Forecheck by Christian Campbell. Hard off the glass out this center for Yo. Missed Malgunas with a pass, and the Knights go back to their own blue line. Adrian Plavsic, quick pass for Jeff Toms. At center, a pass brought in across the line. That's offside, and play is halted. Almost 2 minutes gone in the second period, and the Knights leading this hockey game 1-0.
Well, Terry Ruskowski wants to get his team back online here. I'm sure he had something to say about the obstruction or interference calls and calls of that nature, as I think he would much rather play 5-on-5. Now, last game, as we said last game, when the Aeros played 5-on-5, they were tough to beat. I mean, they forced, but as soon as the penalties or power plays came up, it seemed to knock the momentum away, and they weren't able to regain it as quickly. So I'm sure Terry's told them to stay on the ice.
Teams are at 5 aside, but the Aero penalty killing continues to play better. 17 of their last 19 penalties they have killed off. That's going to keep them going up in the rankings. They came in 17th. Puck is cleared by Atlanta. It'll go into the Houston Aeros zone, and it's picked up by Jakes. Icing is indicated, though, and icing is the call, and the faceoff will go back into the Atlanta Knights zone. Steve Jakes, who has given a rough introduction to a couple of knuckles from John Craighead, and I was wondering why he left the ice. We were kind of speculating maybe he got bumped up a little bit. Well, he did get bumped up, but he had a contact that became jarred, and he wanted to go fix it, and that is why he left the ice.
Have you ever seen a hockey player lose a contact on the ice?
Oh, yeah.
It's the funniest thing you've ever seen. You have 12 guys standing around looking straight down, and you don't know what they're doing.
Oh, man.
But, of course, a clear contact on a white surface, I don't think so.
Yeah, you need to give him those blue, like the dark blue or something. You at least get it. And then, of course, he'd probably lose it in the crease there. And it wouldn't matter. You need like a mauve or a fuchsia contact. Puck is stopped by Wilkinson. And it's controlled by Doug Barral. He'll chip it out at center. And Jakes goes back. Watched by Alan Eglin. Jakes was able to reject it, and now it is Carl Valamont. Valamont circling back in his own zone. A quick pass for Jakes, and now it is Scott McCrory off the center ice with Townsend and Yo. McCrory across the line. Dropped it for Townsend. Quick shot. Just hooked wide of the net. Townsend centered. Oh, and I'm not so sure McCrory thought that was coming. He was right in front, crossing in front of Wilkinson, but couldn't pull the trigger. Back to the near side, Yo, trying to get it out of the scrum with Reggie Savage. It came to the line. McCrory, a big slap shot and a stick save made by Wilkinson, and the puck goes out of play. It's a souvenir with 17-12 to go in the second period. Knights lead at 1-0, and Derek Wilkinson continuing to play stellar in the nets.
Well, you remember Derek Wilkinson from last year, as he played in the first game, actually the first game ever for the, well, at least the Aeros in this building last season, and they lost 3-2 to the Aeros last year. But Derek Wilkinson, he's good at clearing his rebounds out as he did on this shot. He just steers this one way up into the crowd. And no danger after that as Wilkinson continues to be strong in this game.
Face off to the left of Derek Wilkinson. And it is Freer with Arneal and Conroy as Donnelly shot wide of the net. And Julia will gather it in along the pushed in there by Conroy. Puck waiting for Jason Ruff, and it's cleared to center for Stan Julia. Man to beat Jim Pack. Julia right side rips a shot, and he missed it to the near side. And now it is Mark Gregg, spins it down for Stan Julia. He's pounded into the boards by Donnelly, picked up by Freer. Can he get it out of his own? No. LaPuma turns it down low. Dobson slows, and Jim Pack plays behind the net. Quick pass, snap to Conroy. Could not find the handle though, and it will go down the ice. And will it be icing? Yes. I thought maybe it had gone through the crease, which would negate the icing, but no, it was wide, and it will be an icing call. 1-0 Knights leading. We're back with more Houston Aeros hockey in a moment, but first, this word from Southwest Airlines.
So you're saying you don't think the mummy was stolen?
I'm telling you, the case was open from the inside.
And you found this note?
Yes, but what does it mean?
Southwest introduces Gotta Go fares starting at $19 on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. They've got everybody getting up and going, but nothing's forever. So look alive. Southwest, the low-fare airline.
It's time for an Express Lube oil change at any Houston Texaco Express Lube.
Knights leading the Houston Aeros 1-0 with 3.5 gone in the second period. Folks here, probably season ticket holders, and I know you're sitting there going, Adam, would you tell me about season tickets? I really want to know. Well, okay, I'll tell you. 627-AERO is the number you have to call to get your season ticket. So call now, 627-AERO. Puck controlled by the Knights. Halkitis who shot, and Dobson will hold on to that. And whistle stops play. 16:32 to go in the second. Knights lead it 1-0. And just, I'm a little surprised by the jump of the boys. Seems like they don't have quite the jump they had Friday night against Detroit.
That's right. I don't understand it either. Once again, I say it's tough to pick up the momentum after it's slowed down again. It's not like a switch that you can turn on and off. You have to regain the momentum by a big play, a big hit, a big shot or something, or a big save. And Dobson's provided plenty of those tonight. Yeah,
and the thing is, don't forget the Knights, 3 games in 3 nights. They don't look tired at all at this point. And a shot comes on and Dobson makes the save. But I mean, 1-0 could be plenty enough for Derek Wilkinson.
And well, it certainly could. And I'll tell you one thing. You know, a lot of players say this, and as a goaltender, I guess it's different because you have a different kind of game. You're out there the whole 60 minutes. But as a player, a lot of players say that they feel more comfortable on the third night in a row, and that sounds peculiar because usually you think they'd be more tired, and they are feeling a little bit more tired, but they usually say they feel better than the second night, and I'm not sure why that is, but I think you're seeing an example of that in the Atlanta Knights tonight. The Aeros will still be able to take advantage of maybe their 3 games in 3 nights if they start working them hard and hitting them down low.
Jim Pack plays the puck behind his net. And it came out to center for Mark Freer. Freer looking for Conroy. A pass a bit too far. It goes into the Knight zone. LaPuma shouldered out of there by Conroy. Al Conroy grinding it out. Freer chipped it away, but it's now Stan Julia who banks it out at center. Taken back by Jim Pack at his own blue line for Scott Arneal. And Arneal trying to find Conroy, but it's picked up by Mark Gregg. It's 1-0 Atlanta. 4 minutes gone in the second. Here come the Knights. Julia across the arrow lines. Winging around. Jim Pack cuts behind the net. Walks out in front to the line. Daniel Perrier, the shot right on. And Dobson makes the save and holds on. And now pushing and shoving and grappling and discussions going on in front of Dobson. And everybody trying to match up as Scott Arneal wants to have words with Mark Gregg. And he follows him around and says, hey, don't run it away from me. Jason Ruff wanting in there.
Well, I know that Julia and Arneal know each other, and it's funny in some situations you see all the tough guys pushing each other around, and then guys that know each other always go to each other and say, hey, stay right here. But it's Stan Julia feeding the puck to Perrier, and a good shot, and Dobson just hanging on to that. And I think I think as soon as a goaltender squeezes the puck like that, you'll see forwards kind of sniffing around the crease, and your defensemen are always going to give him an extra shot or two, as Donnelly did. And he'll be in the box with, I think, Greg, and they're chirping at each other back and forth in the. I don't know if you can read lips. I don't have to say anything else, but that's usually, like I said, in football you have the front line, whereas in hockey the pit, as they call it, is a slot area right in front of the net. And there's lots of pushing and shoving in there because you never know. A goaltender drops a puck, someone like Jason Ruff, as he did in the first period, will be there to put it in. So a good job by Donnelly by pushing guys out of the crease, but he'll sit 2 minutes with Mark Gregg.
Face off in the circle on the right side of Rob Dobson. John Parrish Jr. watching on, and the puck controlled by LaPerriere and chipped down into the corner. Laniel behind the net, rolls it over to Turgeon. Sylvain Turgeon behind the net for Laniel to Miles O'Connor, and the Aeros are off to center. Laniel, give it to DiPietro, trying to hit the line, had it poked at. Aeros need to regroup. Aeros haven't hit the blue line with a lot of speed this night. Laniel turns the puck over now. Doug Baralt in the arrow end, trying to slide it down for Savage. He's pushed along the boards with O'Connor's in there. We go 4-on-4 here for another minute and a half. DiPietro turned the puck over. Baralt the shot, and Dobson stopped it. So the Aeros have had a couple of big turnovers in their own zone here in this one shift. And the Knights came in there, but Dobson made the save, and then the net becomes dislodged with 4:55 gone in the second and a 1-0 Knight lead.
Well, Adam, you talked about the pace of the game, the pace of the game in the second period especially, and you notice how it slowed down. Now, the tendency is when it's already starting to slow down, the tendency is for it to just keep getting slower until something breaks, until someone scores or something like that. I think it's in order for a team to be successful, they've got to be able to send a line out there that's going to have a bit of hop to it and change that momentum for their team. Right now, there's players out on the ice that can do that. We'll just have to see if they are up to it right now.
It was a great first period, but this second period has kind of come to a grinding halt.
I don't know if they know what to do without all the penalties in it.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're not used to it. Puck controlled by Jakes in behind his net for Houston. Steve Jakes pass left side for Valamont, sends it back to Jakes, and it's DiPietro off to the races. 2-on-1 with Turgeon. DiPietro across the line, shoots, hammered wide, and the rebound was overskated by Turgeon. And the Knights clear to center, and back goes Carl Valamont. Off the boards to the line, and at center it's Turgeon. He's quickly at center. Turgeon hits the line, looks in front, center, but DiPietro couldn't quite get there. And it is cleared down the ice. A lead centering pass. Just missing DiPietro. And again, the Aeros come. So all of a sudden, Slavchenko comes in. Wait, shoots, makes a score! Score! It was kicked in by a Knight player, and we'll wait to see the call.
I think the referee is reluctant to make a quick call on that one. I'm not sure what he's going to call, but it is a goal as far as I'm concerned.
Dubois kicked it in.
It was kicked in by Dubois as he slid into the net, and I don't know what they're going to call on this one, but I believe they're going to, right now, from what it looks like, I think he's conferring with his linesman, but it looks like he's going to not call it a goal. But that's a prime example of a goal. As the puck was shot, save was made by Wilkinson, and then a Knight player slid into the crease, knocking the puck into the net.
The question is, did the puck cross the line before the net became dislodged? And for those of you watching on Prime Sports, we'll take a look at Slavchenko.
Slavchenko in pretty much all alone as he makes a good move, and Wilkinson makes a save, and then Dubois kicks the puck in.
Oh, that's a goal.
It's definitely.
That is a goal.
It's a goal, and I'm not sure what the referee's calling it. Judging by the fans, he hasn't called it a goal.
Oh, man.
But a good shot by Slavchenko and a good save equally. But Dubois, with his momentum, came sliding into the net, and that was naturally a goal as the puck did cross the line. But it's a game of inches and it's a game of seconds, and I'm not sure the referee saw the puck go deep into the net before the net was knocked off. But to tell you the truth, you know what bothers me is if your own player knocks the net off, usually they'll allow the goal anyways, because even on a play where a player will deliberately knock the net off, if let's say an Aero player were to shoot the puck into the net, it would still be allowed. I'm not sure about that call, but it looks like it'll stand. And Terry really doesn't understand, as the referee's going to explain it to him.
That's outright. I'm going to call it as you see it. That's outright a wrong call. It's a wrong call. The replay clearly showed it went off the player Dubois. And again, for those of you watching on Prime, watch it. Watch number 18, the one with the helmet, the
one sliding into the goaltender. The puck's there, and watch the puck into the back of the net. Now, the puck's in the net, and now the net goes off. And you know what? And you know what they did is they showed the replay on the big screens in the rink here in the Summit, and the fans just went crazy on that one.
O'Connor the drive, and Wilkinson makes the save. Wow, the Knights with a big break. And those are the kinds that decide hockey games. For the Aeros, they got to dig down deep and get that one back.
Well, you know what? I mean, that goes towards arguments back and forth about, well, do you want things like referees' mistakes or things of that nature to just be left unchecked, or do you want things like instant replays in a game like they had in football and everything? It's a big issue, and people have argued it back and forth. But you know, that was clearly a goal, but that's a referee's call and it stands. So I think the Aeros, the best thing for them to do is just to go on and not worry about something they can't do about it anymore.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe Dean Warren lost sight of the puck, in which case, you know, he makes the call he has to make, but that still doesn't make things right, because the bottom line is it's a goal. The puck went in, but they're not going to call it. Plavsic get it out at center. Stan Drulia hits the line, trying to split the defense. Drulia right side, watched by O'Connor, sidestep a check, walks through the check, and then it's taken back by Conroy. But he gave it right, or excuse me, that was McCrory who gave it back. Then Drulia trying to let the shot go, and it went wide, and it's picked up by Slivchenko. Vadim at neutral, pushed off by Drulia, and Drulia will bring the puck in. He centered it right in front. The shot, great save by Dobson, and he'll hold on. 13:36 to go in the second, 1-0, the Knights lead it.
I tell you what, it's a great play originally by Stan Drulia, seeing Mark Gregg, I believe it was, streaking down the right wing, and he gets him the puck, but then Gregg, as you see, Drulia backhanding a big saucer pass. It gets by the Aero defenseman, and Gregg making a good shot. But look at Dobson. See where he is? Way out on top of his crease, cutting down the angle. He knew that's the only shot that Gregg, or the only play Gregg had available, and Dobson snags that one with his glove. 17 saves tonight already.
Face off the left side of Rob Dobson. Easy for me to say. Freer, Arneal, and Conroy with Donnelly. And I believe that's Laniel on the far side. No, it's Jim Pack, excuse me. Kind of lined up at the angle. I couldn't see if there was a 7 or a 2 or whatever. So it's Jim Pack out there. Puck is in behind the net. Dobson turned it over to Donnelly, and now it is Freer to center ice. Mark Freer, pass, snapped onto the stick of Conroy, trying to move it through LaPuma. He's bumped but stays with the puck. Worked it down, but turned around by the Knights. Bob Halkitis hooked off the play, and a penalty coming up for the Houston Aeros. It'll be hooking, and the Aeros will be shorthanded.
Arneal's not too happy about that one, as I think Halkitis helped him a little bit in the falling department, but I don't know if that's a little discretionary on that call. But Arneal does get a little bit of a hook on Halkitis, but Halkitis just drops. Look at it, that's a dive. I mean, I don't care what, that's just a blatant dive, and I you know, you hate to see that. You like to see a ref call that, because
well, we saw it in Indy against McCrory,
and I liked it. I mean, I didn't like it, the fact that the Aeros got a penalty, but I liked the fact that a referee was willing to call something like that. And it just like when a referee neglects to call something like a penalty shot, the tough calls are the ones you want to see a ref make correctly. And I don't think that was a very correct call there, as Halkitis took a big dive. And granted, maybe Arneal was a little bit, you know, wrong on his side, but also I think you saw Halkitis take a little bit of a dive.
Knights 1 of 5 on the power play. They've got the only goal of the game, and it was a power play goal from Jason Ross. Into the corner, given a bump by Jim Pack. Aeros will shoot it right back down the ice. 12:52 to go in the second. 1-0 Atlanta. 1:37 remaining in the Arneal minor. Back go the Atlanta Knights. Halkitis in behind the cage. He'll move it from right to left. Bob Halkitis, worked on by Freer, nearly popped it away, but Halkitis stays with it. Turned it at neutral, but rejected by Jim Pack. It goes back to the Atlanta Knights zone. Plavsic at his own line, forecheck by Conroy, and it's bumped ahead by the Knights. Peralt looking ahead for Jeff Palm, stripped away by Donnelly, but Plavsic takes it back. For Atlanta, Adrian Plavsic wraps one for Halkitis, right side, trying to push it through McCoy, but the Aeros get it back. Donnelly for Houston, shoots it into the Atlanta Knights zone. Great penalty killing by the Aeros tonight. A minute remaining in the Arneal minor. Clock is in the Atlanta Knights zone. Plavsic to center for Eglund, and here comes Drulia speeding in across the line. Jake's trying to bump him, and then his own man Jeff Palms took him out of the play. The Aero defense couldn't do it, but they had the Knight players do it. And now a two-line pass to Yo, and the face-off will come back into the Houston Aero end with 11:55 to go in the second. 1-0 Atlanta, 42 seconds remaining in the Scott Arneal penalty.
And I think there you see Mike Yo, and you'll usually see him and guys like McCrory, and as well as usually you'll see guys like Malgunas out there as well against the top line for the Atlanta Knights, and that's Drulia, Gregg, and Ruff. And Drulia, you said, saw come streaking across the line on that last play and ran into his own player. I don't think he kind of got blindsided. Got the wind knocked out of him, but he's back out there again. And the Aeros still trying to kill off this penalty. There's 42 seconds left.
Face off left side of Rob Dobson. McCrory will take the draw against Mark Gregg. The only goal, Jason Ruff is 8th from LePerrier. Back in the first period at 13:50. Aeros win the draw, and it'll go all the way down the ice. That'll tick off more time on the penalty. Wilkinson out of the net to slow, and LePerrier will gather in behind his net, and here come the Knights right to left. Daniel LePerrier skating it up and out of his zone. Pass to the right side, Gregg sweeping through the neutral ice. Hits the line, dropped it back. Jason Ruff, quick shot. It's a great stick save. And now it is O'Connor. Can't play it. Jason Ruff's got it. Along the left side, back to the line. LePerrier to Ruff. Went off the stick. O'Connor gives it out to Yo. Mike Yo can't clear it though, and it's Stan Drulia cutting in center and blocked by Jakes, and it's Drulia again. Stan Drulia back to the line. LePerrier, quick pass. Bannister the shot. Dobson stopped it. Rebound. Great save by Dobson, and the Aeros come away. Here is a lead pass for Arneal. Too far, and Wilkinson will reject it. Wow, the Aeros getting 2 marvelous stops from Dobson. Now Yo centered. Jim Pack left side. He tried to throw it back, and it will go to center ice. Donnelly. He'll chase it down at his own blue line. Gord Donnelly in his own end. Quick pass to center for Turgeon. Went off his stick, and Jim Pack is there to throw it into his own zone. And now it is Gord Donnelly. Stutters to neutral ice. Tipped it ahead for Slivchenko. That's over 2 lines, and play is whistled down. 10:43 to go in the second. Knights lead at 1-0. We'll have more action.
Hey, man, don't get caught in your civvy.
Knights leading 1-0 as they try to make it 2-0. Dobson coming up with a couple good saves. As the puck goes in front, Dobson kicking it out, and just like Jason Ruff did earlier, Stan Drulia picks up the puck and tries to flip it by Dobson, but Dobson up and makes a save again. 2 saves for Dobson, 1 goal for the Knights.
Another day at the office for the Dauber.
And saves tonight. The Knights, Wilkinson has 18 and Dobson with 20.
Jakes in his own zone. A pass off the boards, came to the line, not out. Spring held it in, then had to go back to center, and he fired it into the Aeros zone. Steve Jakes is there. Jakes behind his net. A pass off the boards for a speeding Slivchenko. Couldn't find the handle on it, and LaPuma cleared it. Jakes has to hustle back to his own zone. Forecheck by Jeff Toms. He'll chip it off the boards. It came to center, but LaPuma again had it tipped away. Aeros have a 3-on-1. Turgeon hit the post on the outside corner. Now Slivchenko at the left hash marks, wrapped it down, looking for DiPietro. It came to Turgeon for Slivchenko, looking again for Turgeon. This line working good in the corner, and a big collision, but Slivchenko came away with a puck. Vadim Slivchenko had no one to pass to, couldn't get rid of the puck, and the Knights are able to chip it out of there. Here come the Atlanta Knights. Chris LaPuma, he'll just bank it out to center. Knights bring it in 2-on-2. Toms rolled it over for Spring, the shot, and a stick save made by Dobson. It'll go along the boards. Valamont chases it down. He'll start the rush left to right. Carl Valamont shoots it into the Atlanta zone. Back is Adrian Plavsic. Or checked by Freer. Give it over to Eric Dubois, and the pass will come to center for Reggie Savage. Across the line. Savage trying to split the D, working into the corner. He grapples in there with O'Connor, and it's taken back by Bart Freer. Over to Al Conroy. Got it to the line. Out at center. Freer couldn't find the handle, and Plavsic has it back. But Arneal takes it away! Oh, and a great save by Wilkinson. Arneal fighting his way in there, and a great save by Wilkinson.
Well, I tell you what, Arneal did a good job, but he couldn't get enough wood on that one as Wilkinson just dropped onto his knees.
Puck in the near corner. Knights rolling along the boards. Arneal. And he will move it up and out at center. Conroy across the line with Freer. Conroy moving in. It bounces in front, but Arneal, or Laniel rather, couldn't get in there. And we're going to get a penalty to the Atlanta Knights. We'll sort it out when we return. 8:34 to go in the second period. It's 1-0. The Knights lead it. We'll have more when we return. Knights leading the Aeros 1-0. 8:34 to go in the second period. And A reminder, we want you to be a part of the IHL 1996 All-Star Weekend, Friday, January 12th. The Houston Aeros are hosting an All-Star Charity Golf Tournament benefiting the Houston Aero Charities. You'll be playing with members of the 1980 U.S. Olympic gold medal hockey team, the 74-75 Houston Aeros Championship team, and the 1996 IHL All-Star team. For more information, please call the Houston Aeros at 621-2842. I have, as Reggie Savage sits in the box, the good news is I probably will not be playing in that, so you don't have to worry about me being any part of your fivesome, so you at least have a chance.
Well, you never know. If they go by the handicap system, they might help you out.
I may need another lesson from Neil Wilkins over there at Lakeside for that one. Puck comes in front, and it's covered up by Wilkinson.
I heard the best wood in your bag's a pencil.
And the eraser to match with it to change that score. And Steve Jakes trying to hit the Aeros even. They were even for about a split second till the goal was called back. And a lot of question on whether that should have been a goal or not. Now, not a question if you're an Aero fan.
Well, it's no question no matter whose fan you are, because, I mean, we clearly saw that it was a goal. The fact is that the referee just didn't see it, or he wasn't at a proper angle where he could make that call, and that's why he called it the way he did.
Face off left of Wilkinson, controlled by Jakes. Steve Jakes, give it to Slivchenko, right wing boards. Slivy reversed it for DiPietro. Back to the line for Jakes. Wines fakes the shot. Went behind DiPietro. Slivchenko got it back, go right to Paul DiPietro. Base of the right circle. DiPietro. Sounds like a type of gasoline. This Slivchenko to the line. Jakes, one-time shot. Hammer wide rebound. Tucked in there and flip wide of the net. And the Knights will bang it all the way down the ice. 8 minutes to go in the second. 1-0 Atlanta.
You know, that we talk about that goal, that could come into play as being a very big play in this game if it stays as low scoring as it is right now.
Valamont hammers it in. Oh man, had the boom lowered on him by Drew Bannister, but that's called paying the price. Got the puck dumped in though, and the Aeros have possession. Turgeon left it in the corner for Slivchenko. Threw it right back to Sylvain Turgeon. Had it picked away by Leperrier, and the Knights clear to center. Jason Ruff has a couple of guys to beat. Ruff across the line, cutting in. Valamont poke checked it, but Ruff still with it. Base of the right circle. Jason Ruff harassed by Valamont. Knights control. Julia chipped it away, and it's finally controlled by Paul DiPietro, and it's behind the Aero net for Carl Valamont. 45 seconds remaining in the Aero power play, but it's tipped away by Jason Ruff. And again, we continue to talk about the Aero power play, and it has really struggled this season, coming in at only 12%. That is 18th in the IHL, and there's only 19 teams, folks. The only team lower than them are the Fort Wayne Comets. Aeros with 7 power play goals, Fort Wayne with 5. Here come the Aeros 3-on-2 with a chance to tie. Conroy right side, dropped it for Freer. The pass missed him though, and Baralt will clear it at center. Laniel knocked it down, tipped away by Gregg. Gregg across the Aero line, bumped by Laniel, and Arneal takes over with 10 seconds to go in the power play. Scott Arneal at center, sidestepping a Baralt check. Still trying to move it ahead. Arneal fighting for it. He's hauled down. Play going on. Freer couldn't get it advanced, and the Knights just shoot it down the ice. Penalty is over. They will see Dobson play it, which will negate any icing. And boy, I think the Knights had too many men on the ice. I think the Aeros are going to get another power play here as Atlanta had 6 guys. They got caught in the line changes. The puck came in front of their bench.
You saw Dubois try to jump into the penalty or jump into the players box from about the red line. That'd have been a new long jump record, I think. But I think that's a bad change by the Knights, and they get caught on it. And John Paris will have to throw out his penalty killing unit as the Knights have a penalty now for too many men on the ice, I believe.
Well, you brought up the point that the Aeros, if they don't score on the power play, teams could just keep taking penalties. At this point, the Aeros are not making any teams pay any price for their penalties.
Well, exactly. I mean, hey, if I'm playing against a team that's not going to score on me on my on the penalty, I won't be as afraid. I'd be as afraid to take a penalty against them. And right now, the Knights, I don't think they're going out there saying I want to take penalties, but it's not a big deal for them if they do, because the Aeros aren't making them pay the price. And tonight, the Aeros are 0 for 5 on their power play with 9 shots on goal. They have to make those 9 shots count.
Freer, Arneal, and Conroy with Laniel and Miles O'Connor. Aeros on the power play, and it is Laniel, a pass for O'Connor, left side at center. Lost the puck, but got it to Arneal. Here's Freer, had it poke check, but he'll get it in the corner. Near side, Freer he lost an edge, and down he went, and the Knights will take it. Mark Gregg, and he'll blast it to the line, and down the ice it'll go with 1:37 left in their power play.
You know what, and you mentioned this earlier, the Aeros aren't coming over the line with speed. If you don't come over with speed, any team's going to stand you up at their blue line.
Conroy hits the line with some speed. Right side, dropped it for McCrory. Scott McCrory, base of the right circle, threw it off skates, and the Knights will come to center ice. Jason Ruff, a pass for Drulia, moves in, line shoot, scores! Stan Drulia short-handed, and it's 2-0 Atlanta. A short-handed goal by Drulia.
You can almost see those plays developing as even on the last power play, Jason Ruff and Stan Drulia and the other penalty killers were just controlling the puck and dumping it in, and you don't want to give Stan Drulia that shot. That's his bread and butter off that wing, and he goes the other way on Dobson. I'm surprised Dobson must have not had the right angle as he came out to cut down the angle on Drulia, and he must have made a pretty good shot because the pass is right on his stick. But Dobson, you'll see him in your picture in a second, but Drulia somehow gets the puck by him. Now, usually on that play with a goaltender coming out that far, there is no net to shoot at, but Drulia obviously found the twine on the blocker side.
Aero power play down to minute 3. Shakes at center, sends it back to Carl Valamont, and the Aeros have not even put a shot on Derek Wilkinson on their last 2 power plays. This is their 3rd, and they still don't have one on him. Yo, right side. Yo trying to move it ahead. LaPuma cleared it right back down the ice. 5:10 to go in the second. 2-0 Atlanta, and 40 seconds remaining in the Aero power play. Houston, Valamont, pass to Jake, get it back for Valamont. Turned it right side, Yo. It goes into the Atlanta Knights zone. Wilkinson out of the net. And it's flipped along the boards and cleared to the line. Not out. Jake's held it in. Right side, a centering pass. Miss Graham Townsend. And a battle for the puck. Alkitis and Townsend far boards. Scooped away Yo. It came to the line. Not out. Held in by Valamont. He hit the referee, Dean Warren. Out is Yo. Left side. He centered it, but too far for Townsend to go right back down the ice. Penalty down to 10 seconds. Laniel at his own blue line. Pass at center. Yo. He'll hit the line. Yo cutting in with a shot and a stick save made by Wilkinson. Mike Yo over to Graham Townsend. Scooped it back for McCrory. Penalty is over. Teams at 5 aside. Halkitis chipped it out for Doug Baralt. And away the Knights come. 3-on-2 across the line. They'll dump for the far boards for Baralt. He's pinched by Jim Pack. And McCrory takes it back. McCrory, a pass for Mark Laniel across the line with Townsend. And the Aeros are offsides as Graham Townsend a little early, and they'll bring a face-off to center. 4:03 to go in the second. 2-0 Atlanta. We'll be back. Knights lead at 2-0. 4:03 to go in the second period here at the Summit. And it's time for our Watch and Win contest, brought to you by your local Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep and Eagle dealers. Call right now at 777-5772 and identify the player at one of those local dealerships, Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle. We know who it is. We'll see if you do. We'll give you the winner at the end of the second intermission. Who is our... No, it's not him. I don't think... No, it's not you.
Maybe he knows.
I know who it is. We'll identify him at the end of the second intermission. So call right now, 777-5772. Hot shot back into the Aero zone. Picked up by Jim Pack. He'll hustle behind the cage and move it up the boards into Paul DiPietro. Aeros need 2 of them now to tie. Puck goes into the Atlanta Knights zone. Slivchenko right side, cutting behind the net. Slivchenko hit the brakes, lost the puck, and the Knights will bring it to center. Craig punched into the boards by Turgeon. And it is Jason Ruff across the line. He centered it, and it's picked up by Sylvain Turgeon, romping to center. Here's Turgeon across the line. Turgeon looking for the pass. It came to Slivchenko right back, but it went behind the net. Jim Pack reversed it along the boards for DiPietro. Base of the circle. He hit the side of the net with his pass, and Mark Gregg takes over. Aeros just seem off with their passing. It's a big difference from what we saw Friday night in the passing and the speed to what we see this evening. More in the second period than what we saw in the first. The Aeros had a good first period, I thought. And the Aeros at center. Conroy with under 3 minutes to go in the second period. Hands it over to Freer. Cuts it back for Conroy. He was harassed by Campbell, but stays with the puck. He centered for Freer. Couldn't pull the trigger. Now O'Connor the drive, and a big one hammered wide. Conroy takes his man into the boards, kicked away by Bannister, and the Knights come to center. Campo dumped the puck in, and Laniel will go back. He will play it, and icing is the call. 2:34 to go in the second period. The Knights lead at 2-0, and I mean, I guess if you're the Houston Aeros, you just be glad it stays like that, and you come out in the third period, and maybe we'll see if the fatigue factor means anything. 3 games in 3 nights for Atlanta, and Terry Wiskowski, I think the look says it all. His team has come out flat in the second period.
Well, and you know what I think took a lot of wind out of their sails is that disallowed goal. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
The guys work hard, they get a goal, and they get it disallowed. I think that, I mean, I know as a hockey player you shouldn't let that bother you, but let's face it, I mean, it was a goal. It would have been a tie game. The momentum would have been with them, but all of a sudden they find themselves down 1-0, and now they're down 2-0. I think it's just it's one of those things where, you know, they just keep getting slower and slower. I think there's got to be something to happen to get them going.
Miles O'Connor had his pocket pick, and Eglin cleared it out at center ice. Knights bring it in 3-on-3, a shot high off the glass. O'Connor gets back, played by Eglin though, and Adrian Plavsic has it. Plavsic looking for Baralt. Laniel was there, and he'll scoop it over to Scott Arniel. Arniel, rink-wide pass for Al Conroy, looking for Freer, lead pass, almost hit Freer in the head. Freer got there though to negate the icing. Dubois reversed it along the boards, but right to mark. Laniel with 2:05 to go in the period. Shot blocked in front. It came right in front of Wilkinson. Knights clear, not out. Here's the shot by Jakes, right on, and it was kicked out of there by Wilkinson. Into the corner. Dubois shoveled it around the boards. Plavsic has it. And the Knights will clear to center ice. Picked away by Jakes. Returns it to Arniel. Left side. Dropped it. Conroy. Great save by Wilkinson. And the puck is picked up by Arniel. So this line putting a little pressure on in this part of the period. This shift a good one. And it's cleared to center. 1:35 to go in the second period. 2-0 hockey game. The Knights lead it. Jakes hammers one over to the left side for Valamont. Off skates and Plavsic shoots to center. Reggie Savage gently rolled it into the Aero zone, and the Knights make changes. Dobson out of the net with 1:20 to go in the second period. Aeros trail 2-0. They've got the puck in their end. Jakes a pass to neutral. Off sticks and controlled by LaPuma. Shot to Drulia and tipped into the Aero zone. Jakes goes back to play. Right side in his own end. A pass right in front of his net to the far side. Valamont looking for Yo. A bit too far, and the Knights are there at center. Picked away though by McCrory. The Aeros turn it around. Yes, McCrory across the line, but offside. And the faceoff comes to center with under a minute to go, and Scott McCrory just trying to find some kind of combination to get a goal here and get the Aeros into this hockey game. And they had such a strong first period and skated really well, but it has pretty much been Atlanta. And also, I think you brought up a good point. I think that disallowed goal has really taken out a lot of the steam. But again, the power play has also lacked a little jump tonight as well.
Well, and you know, I mean, Terry Wiskowski said in his interview before the game, no, I'm not going to change the power play. I want to give these guys some time to work together. And that's fine because, as we all know, Sylvain Turgeon's new to the team. So is DiPietro. They're all new. The lines are new. So let these guys go for a little while. But after maybe a game or two, you have to say, wait a second. Maybe we have to change the system, at least on the power play.
Donnelly in his own end. He'll turn the puck and move it out at center. Missed everybody, and icing will be the call. No, it'll check up just short of the line, meaning the Puma can play, and that will be no icing. Kiedis in behind his net, cleared the puck along the boards. Turgeon trying to pick one free. It's controlled by Stan Drulia, and here come the Atlanta Knights. LaPuma, long lead pass for Drulia across the line. Drulia's got rough cutting to the net, couldn't center it to him. Gregg along the board, sidestep a slip. Chenko check, got it to the line. LaPuma winding, shooting. Dobson stick saving, and the puck will be slicing over the glass and out of play. 17 seconds to go, second period, and the Knights on top 2-0.
Well, this period's almost over. I think what the Aeros have to do is go into this intermission and regroup. They've scored 2 goals in a period before, so I'm sure Terry will have them thinking about that.
So Dobson, well, continues to play well. Another strong effort from him. I know he'd like to have the Drulia go back. Our angle from what we saw in the replay, it was hard to see if his angle was off or it was just a well-placed shot.
I think it was maybe a little bit of both. What you find is, like, Dobson likes to charge the shooter when he knows that that's the only play the shooter has. But the problem with charging a player is you may have to make sure you have your angle, because if you charge and you have the wrong angle, then you're actually opening up a shooting opportunity.
Dobson, one of the top skating goaltenders in the IHL. Is that important to have a goaltender that can skate really well?
Well, a lot of people say it's not so much the skating, it's the balance on the skates. And you watch figure skaters, they're some of the best skaters in the world, and that's because they have a good balance on their skates. Goaltenders must have that same balance.
The Perrier shot was stopped, so that means Dorothy Hamill would be a great goaltender.
I don't know.
With that hairdo, she'd cover a lot of the net.
It's funny, a lot of goaltenders take figure skating to learn how to skate.
No question. It's power skating, and it's all part of figure skating. Puck is chipped away, and the buzzer sounds ending the second period. And the Aeros find themselves down by a score of 2-0. A shorthanded goal by Stan Drulia, the only tally, and it's 2-0 in favor of the Atlanta Knights. And we will recap the scoring and get the second intermission underway right after this. Atlanta Knights leading the Houston Aeros 2-0 in the second period. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay. And, you know, we talked after that first period about the Aeros' pace, and it was a good pace in that first period. But what a difference 20 minutes makes, because it came to a grinding halt for Houston in that second period.
Well, I hate to use the word lethargic, but that was kind of how the pace was for both teams. And we laughed about it, but we said, hey, maybe without all those penalty calls, the guys didn't know what to do. And I just don't think there was any spark for either team.
And when the Aeros did have the power play, they were at 0-for-7 Friday night against the Detroit Vipers, and they continue to be the 0-fers tonight.
Well, like we said, Terry's going to go with this power play for a little while. He's going to give these guys a chance to break out of this slump. But after a while, he's going to have to do something if nothing happens. And, we'll see what happens in this third period.
Well, then that leads us to the highlights. And I guess my question to you, Mike Greenlay, is how big is this no goal?
Well, it's very big, and because it has to do a lot with momentum. As we can see by the replay, it's a clear goal. As Slivchenko's tripped, he gets the shot still, and then the puck goes into the net before the net's dislodged. I mean, technically speaking, it's a goal. But maybe, you know what, and after the goal, Dean Warren went over and he told Terry Ruskowski why he didn't call it a goal. I would like to hear what was said on that, because I'd like to hear as an explanation. This puck is clearly in the net before it comes off. It's a tough call for him to make, because he was on the wrong side of the net, but still, he has to confer with his linesman in that situation.
A very deflating call, and as well as Rob Dobson's played, this shorthanded goal kind of hurt.
Well, Dobson likes to come out, and you'll see him coming out on this play. Drulia is very good off the wing. He likes to go against the goalie's grain, and he did it in that shot. And here's a great angle. Dobson comes out, but he's leaning to his left, and Stan Drulia took advantage of that, went blocker side, which is on his right-hand side, and he beat Dobson.
Does it almost look like Dauber, as you said, kind of went to his left? And do you think maybe Dobson knew a book on Drulia that he likes to go short side?
Well, no, it's more that Drulia was winding up for the shot, and he took a big windup. Dobson came right out at him and said, I'm going to cut down the angle. The problem is as the player's moving forward, he has to lean to his left to negate him just skating right by him. But I think he leaned a little too much, and Drulia just went back against the grain. And in that situation, he's off his angle, and Drulia made a good shot inside the post.
And one of the things we talked about coming into the game is the Aeros had found the offense. When you look at the 4-1 game against the Detroit Vipers, it's kind of come to a complete halt tonight. But hey, don't kid yourself. We've got 20 minutes of action coming up. The Aeros are only down 2 goals. DiPietro, they're starting to show signs of life. I thought the Arneal line, their last 2 shifts of that second period, and the Slivchenko line were getting some things done. They're spinning their wheels a little bit, but they're getting some things done.
They are getting things done, and you know what was promising was we also saw some good shots by the Yo, Malgunas, and McCrory line. They even got in there. As a coach, you want your first 2 lines to do a lot of scoring, and then you want your third line to pitch in with a few goals. You almost saw one by that third line, and I'm sure hopefully a line like that can get the rest of the guys going, because they're going to go in there and do a lot of crashing.
All right, 2-0. The Knights lead it. When we return, we'll take a look at tonight's statistics, plus we'll have a watch and win winner for you. We'll be right back. The Atlanta Knights leading the Houston Aeros, and we take a look at tonight's Jeep Eagles stats, brought to you by your local Texas Jeep and Eagle dealers. 25-24 shots on goal for the Houston Aeros, and we talked about the Atlanta Knights last night in their loss 5-2 to Cincinnati. Was the only time they've outshot a hockey club this year. Power plays, look at the story. Atlanta Knights 1 of 6 with 8 shots. The Aeros have 10 shots on their 6 power plays, but that 0 looms large. 27-25 are the face-offs in favor of the Aeros, and you look at the penalties, both 7 for 14 minutes.
And you also have to consider that on that 0 for 6 on the power play for the Aeros, they gave up a goal, so they're actually -1 for 6.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it is a 2-0 hockey game in favor of the Atlanta Knights, and the Aeros looking to generate some offense, and we'll see if they can do that when we return. Third period action is next. Our score, it's the Atlanta Knights 2, Houston Aeros 0. We'll be right back. The Atlanta Knights leading the Houston Aeros. The officials back out on the ice. The Aeros and the Knights sure to follow shortly. It's time to reveal our featured Aero player, and tonight It's Mark Freer, who led the Aeros with 38 goals last year, signed as a free agent at the start of last season. And his favorite sports team, Toronto Blue Jays, but unfortunately for him, they aren't back in the World Series. It's the Atlanta Braves and the Cleveland Indians. Last I heard in the 5th inning it was 2-2. And Mark Freer is a frustrated hockey player who's trying to find the goals, but I'm sure he will get it as the night goes on and as the season continues. So our winner, who correctly identified Mark Freer, is Chris Holden from Sugarland. Chris has won a trip for 2 to Las Vegas to see the Aeros play the Thunder and will stay at the Imperial Palace Hotel. Oh, is that me right there in front, waving eye? Yeah, I think that's me down there.
In front of the one-armed bandits.
No, in front of the craps table. Remember to stop by your local Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep and Eagle dealers tomorrow to see who the next featured Aeros player is. And that will take place on our next telecast. Mark Freer, who I know would love to get a goal here. I'd like to see his team. I'd like to see his team get a couple of them here. They're down 2-0. And you know, the funny thing is the defense is really coming together. We've talked about it took some time to gel. They're getting the goaltending from Dobson. The defense is playing better, but now they got to get the offense.
And they've seen it in the last couple games. And you know what? I think you know what Terry Ruskowski is saying in between periods. Let's look at it this way. We're down 2-0. The only way to get back into this game, we have to score 3 goals to win. Basically, they have to jump on the Knights immediately, and I mean even before immediately. Right as soon as that puck's dropped, they got to head down there, put some pressure on, lay some hits out, and take control of the game. If they don't, then it could become another lethargic period, and it could just be something that the Knights would just kind of float along and just keep putting that kind of pressure on that they have been. And you see that the shots are even, so both teams have had their opportunities. It's just that the Aeros haven't been able to convert on some of theirs.
The Atlanta Knights, this is their 3rd game in 3 nights. If you didn't tell me that, I'd have no clue. I think they'd have a few nights off playing this game. They look sharp.
Well, I think they're all, but you have to realize this, out of these 3 games, they have lost their last 2 by some considerable margins, 4-0 and 5-2. So I think they're ready to jump too. So I mean, I think the Aeros have to realize that. Or they had to realize that, and I think they did in the first period, but in the second period it was a bit of a lull, and I think the Atlanta Knights took advantage of them in that situation, and I think the Aeros are going to have to try and reverse that trend right now.
And this is where Derek Wilkinson gets even stronger when the game's on the line.
Well, and that's another thing the Aeros are going to have to overcome in order to win this game.
So we'll face it off at center ice. Arneal with DiPietro and Conroy, Laniel and O'Connor defensively. So it looks like Terry Ruskowski is going to change up the lines a little bit. Miles O'Connor gives the puck to DiPietro. His shot was picked away. Couldn't get it. Now Conroy. He was kind of slipping when he let the pass go, and Reggie Savage comes to center, romping down the left side. Savage across the line, dropped for Doug Barof's shot, and hooked wide of the net. Bannister pushed in there by Scott Arneal. Savage behind the net, tied up by Laniel, and Arneal will fire it behind the cage, but Savage picked it loose, trying to come out in front, snapped away by Laniel. O'Connor came away with the puck, and he will have it knocked free by by Baralt rather, and the Aeros finally come away with it. Conroy to DiPietro, right back to Conroy, trying to get a weak little shot on goal. It was easily turned away by Derek Wilkinson. Puck to the near side, and it is Baralt that hammered it to center, but Valamont rolled it back into the Atlanta Knights zone. Looked like the Aeros had 6 men on that shift, and that's what John Parrish Jr. was screaming at. The Aeros had one too many guys out there. Valamont came in there before his defenseman came off. Play goes on though. Puck rolled near side for Mike Yeo. He will chip it to center and all the way back into the Atlanta Knights zone. So a minute gone to the third, 2-0. The Knights lead it. Dubois pass to Craig, sent it right back to Dubois behind the net. Knights with a lead pass. It's going to be taken back by Malgunas, busting down the left side for Yeo. Mike Yeo lost the handle, and Adrian Plavsic takes over. Plavsic cleared to the line, not out. Held in by Jakes. The shot wide. It came out in front, but it was turned around, and we're going to get an Atlanta Knight penalty. It will be hooking, I believe, on Eric Dubois, and the Aeros will go on the power play to start this 3rd period. 1.5 gone in the 3rd, 2-0 Atlanta.
Oh, perfect opportunity for the Aeros to jump back into this game. And you know what? I keep bringing up more points about why that darn goal is so frustrating not to be awarded to the Aeros, and that is Slivchenko scored it. That'd have been his 6th, but in front of the net. As I believe, I'm not sure, I think that was Mike Yeo who was falling down there, or getting hooked down, I should say, and he wasn't able to get to the puck. So the Aeros will try their hand at the power play.
Face-off left side of Derek Wilkinson, and Freer will come out with Slivchenko and Turgeon. So obviously Terry's going to change centers on this line for the time being. Aeros Arrows on the man advantage, 0 for 6 tonight. Here's the 7th opportunity as a shot by Turgeon is deflected up and out of play with 1:54 remaining in the Dubois penalty. Arrows next action Wednesday night from Kalamazoo. It will be a radio-only game. You can hear it on 950 KPRC. And then the Arrows come back next week, Friday and Saturday, against the Las Vegas Thunder. And that takes us to our next telecast, which will be Friday night against the Thunder, Friday at 7. And we will have a guest analyst from KPRC Radio, Darren Jones, making his television hockey debut. And does he know what he's getting into? I don't think so, folks.
Don't tell him.
Live, without wires, and without a net. That's what we should call the telecast, without a net. Like the shot down into the arrow.
But there's 2 of them.
Yeah. Not. Puck drilled by Laniel. Arrows on the man advantage. O'Connor, a rink-wide pass for Freer, brings it across the line. Freer right side, trying to move around the Pumas. Drifted for Slivchenko. It went back for Freer. Reversed it for Turgeon. Sylvain Turgeon gathers in the puck, circles at a point, goes to Laniel, top of the slot. His pass is turned around, and it's cleared to center ice. Seems like the Arrows almost, they get a little over anxious when someone puts a little pressure on them. They don't move the puck as well, and that was the thing that really hurt the Arrows in the power play in the Phoenix playoff series last year. They forced so well, and it caused a lot of problems, and that is what is hurting the Arrows in the early going, and of course tonight.
And that is what has been a key to their penalty kill, is they've also put pressure on teams and not allowed it. That's where guys like Slivchenko and guys like Turgeon come in, who can move the puck around well.
Sylvain Turgeon, a pass right off the skates of Graham Townsend, and Conroy gathers it back into his own zone. Lots of time, power play down to 50 seconds. But the Arrows down a couple of goals. Jake's left side hammers it into the Atlantanite end. Wilkinson slowed behind the net, but the first one there is Paul DiPietro. Leaves it for Townsend. Off his stick, the Perrier trying to move it, but Arneal's got it back. To the line for Conroy. Right point, a bouncing puck gives to Arneal. And he'll roll it for Graham Townsend to Arneal. Trying to spank it back to the line. Can't do it, and Bannister shoots it right back to center. DiPietro across the line, makes the move, cuts in, shoots! Great glove save by Wilkinson. Oh, and the rebound got by him, but wide of the net. And it's shot down the ice. A great play by DiPietro, but couldn't get it in the net.
Another good individual effort, but if the Arrows are going to have success, they got to do this as a team. If the Knights are standing up at the blue line, they've got to dump it in and chase it.
Clock is at center. Townsend to Paul DiPietro. Hands it over to Jakes across the line. Penalty over. Teams at 5 aside. Jakes lobbed it over the glass. It was deflected, though, out of play with 16:24 to go in the third. The Knights lead it 2-0, and we'll be right back as we take timeout for this word from Southwest Airlines.
So you're saying you don't think the mummy was stolen?
I'm telling you, the case was open from the inside.
And you found this note?
Yes, but what does it mean?
Southwest introduces Gotta Go fares starting at $19 on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. They've got everybody getting up and going, but nothing's forever. So look alive. Southwest, the low-fare airline.
It's time for the Texas Lottery Winner's Circle. A hats-off salute to everyone who plays the game of Texas. These lucky Texans are already winning, so visit your local Texas Lottery retailer. Play the game of Texas, and maybe we'll see you in the winner's circle.
Knights still lead 2-0 with 16:24 left, and on the power play, DiPietro making a couple nifty moves, beating 2 players and getting a good shot on goal. Wilkinson steers this one behind the net, out of harm's way, and the score remains 2-0. Derek Wilkinson has 26 saves tonight as he's going for the shutout. 16:24 left, though, a lot of time left.
Last time the Arrows were shut out, March 24th at Milwaukee, which was the longest time of the year because the Arrows were shut out twice in Milwaukee back-to-back, and then the night previous they were shut out 2-0 in Denver. In other words, they went 180 minutes plus without scoring a goal. It's the last time they were shut out. It's 2-0 here in favor of Atlanta.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Puck goes back to Gord Donnelly as he will play it in his own end. Donnelly behind the net, forechecked by Alan Eglin as the Knights set up in a neutral zone trap of sorts. It's chipped by Donnelly, but knocked away by Eglin. Puck gathered in. Knights trying to move it ahead, and they worked it back into the Aero zone. Scott McCrory in his own zone. He will turn behind the cage. A pass to the right side. Yo right back to McCrory. He'll move it through the neutral zone. McCrory across the line. Pass for Yo, streaking down the right side. He and Plavsic go hard into the boards. Now Malgunas trying to scoop it free. Peralt was in there, and Plavsic turned it around for Alan Eglin. Moves to center ice. A pass for Savage off his stick, and then he's knocked down by Donnelly, and no penalty. Play goes on. Good hit by Donnelly. Yo moving through center for Scott McCrory. Across the line with Malgunas. McCrory cutting in. The shot right on. Stopped in front, and Malgunas nearly had a chance. Here's Turgeon, but couldn't walk around Corey Spring, and he'll come to center ice. Across the line with Temple. They cross it up. Corey Spring, the shot blocked, and it's picked up by Vadim Slivchenko. Slivchenko in his own zone, romps up the right side for Turgeon. He'll shoot it into the Atlanta end. Wilkinson out of the net with 5 minutes gone in the third. A 2-0 hockey game. Knights lead it. Puck shoveled to center. Jeff Toms rolled it into the Aero zone. Dobson out of the net to slow, and it's Miles O'Connor. Hooked off the play by Toms. Aeros working for it in behind the net. And finally, Corey Spring came away with it. He's got Freer on his case. Puck along the boards. Jeff Toms skate to skate with Miles O'Connor to the right side of Dobson in the far corner. And Tom's doing a good job with the puck, but finally it's taken away by Freer, and here come the Aeros. Sylvain Turgeon. A pass to center, and Freer's got a break. Freer right in on goal. He waits, shoots. Great save by Wilkinson. And the rebound was out of Slivchenko's reach, and it's cleared back to center. Jakes to Freer along the left side. A quick pass, too far and hard for Slivchenko. And LaPuma is back. Hand it over to Bob Alkitis. Right side, Julia. Slides it out at center. It'll go back into the Aero zone. Valamont rammed to center, but Julia is there, and he's got to wait for Mark Gregg to get on side. Julia hammered it into the Aero zone. Dobson slowed behind the net. And this is Carl Valamont behind the cage. Valamont harassed by Ruff, trying to shake off the check. Give it over to Jakes. Quick pass off the stick of DiPietro, but to Conroy. Right back to DiPietro. He shot it into the Atlanta zone. Back is Drew Bannister. Popped it up out in front. DiPietro cuts in the shot. Oh, great save, rebound. Oh, it was stopped again. Conroy in front. How did Wilkinson get that one from point blank range? It's like parachuting out of an airplane and missing the earth. He was right in front, and the Aeros turning around at center. Wow.
Those are two of the best saves I've ever seen in a row. Wow, what saves by Wilkinson as he rotates his body and gets his glove on the second one.
Oh, man. Well, if you can't get open net shots, what can you do? You got to keep plugging away. Puck goes into the Aero zone. That could have been a huge goal for Houston, but Wilkinson saves the day. He continues to have his way with the Aeros. Outside of one game, he was not that strong. He has just really played so well against the Aeros. Puck is along the far boards. Eglin to Savage to the line. Not out. Shot blocked. Puck in front. McCrory couldn't get the shot away. And Eglin will just clear it down the ice. So the Aeros, as an icing call coming up, the Aeros that have seen tremendous goaltending in the last two games from Rob Dobson are now victims of it from Derek Wilkinson. And it continues to be 2-0 Knights, and we'll return after this.
Knights 2-0 as Freer gets a break with Slivchenko, and Wilkinson coming up large with a pad save on this one. And then again, Wilkinson comes up later with a couple huge saves. As the puck goes out in front, he makes a save here, but he makes a blind one with the back of his glove on another one. And then he just made another one just now. His kid's making all kinds of saves tonight as the Aeros cannot pierce the armor of Derek Wilkinson. It's 2-0 Knights, and it stays that way.
Well, Al Conroy was on his knees as the Aeros are out shooting Atlanta 31-24, but the stat that means the difference is the Knights do not have a shot in this third period. The stat that makes the big difference is the one that we see straight across. 12:41 to go in the third. Knights have 2 goals, the Aeros none. Face off left side of Wilkinson. And what do we got here? Someone not lined up properly?
I think they're kicking them both out, I believe. They're going to kick them both out and try it all over again.
So Yo will take the draw against Jason Ruff to the left side of Wilkinson. Drop of the puck, and the Knights have got it. In there to the boards, it's Plavsic, wrestled in there by Scott McCrory. And Mark Gregg came away with a puck. He'll move it out at center ice, and then they're going to call a penalty on the Aeros.
I can't believe that. That's not. It looks like a dive. Maybe it isn't. I'm going to have to take a look at the old replay on that one, I believe.
Eye sticking coming up to Scott McCrory, and Gregg, that kind of looked like he was shot on that.
Where's the sniper? But I think he did get the stick up on him. But well, you know what though, and that's a dive. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll tell you why I think so. Because the stick is put on his shoulder. Malgunas puts a stick on his shoulder, and then what happens is he lifts his arm up, and the stick naturally rises with his shoulder, and it catches him really on the ear or something, and then the explosion. And I just disagree with that. I mean, I realize the stick's up there, but God, you got to call that diving, and it really was a I don't know. You're right. It looked like the sniper got him from the third row. Wow.
Face off at center ice, and the Knights on the power play, 1 of 6.
That never worked for me.
Aeros have it at center ice. Mark Freer tossed it back into his own zone, and the Aeros have to hustle back to get it. Jim Pack in his own end chips it off the board, and Pack still working on it. Pack finally cleared to the line, out at center. The late offside's coming up, and it will be called, and they will call it an intentional one, as it will come all the way back down into the Atlanta Knights zone. 12:09 to go in the third. 2-0 Atlanta with 1:40 remaining in the Malgunas minor. And you know, we talk about the Oshman's game plan. We talked about it with you and Terry, and you know, the Oshman's game plan about the team defense, it's been there. But the #1 key, which was our #2 key in the Oshman's game plan, was, you know, the power play. And that is the biggest thing tonight. The Aeros have just struggled on the man advantage.
Well, we keep saying it. The Aeros have the talent to get the kind of goals they need from the players. They have the talent on the team. They just need to find a system that's comfortable for them.
Off the face-off in the Atlanta Knights zone. Knights have it, and they will play with it in behind their net. Mark Gregg with 8 minutes gone in the third, and the Knights up 2-0. It is controlled. LePerrier, hand over to Gregg, and across the line, rolled it down low, but Mark Laniel is there, and he'll hammer it down the ice. This has been strong tonight. That's the penalty killing.
It certainly has, and when you have two teams that are struggling on the power play, maybe it makes the penalty killing look a little stronger. But you're right, the Aeros have been strong on their penalty killing thus far this season.
Conroy turned the puck around, and he chipped it into the Atlanta Knight bench with 1:07 remaining in the penalty to Malgunas. As Daniel LePerrier trying to notch another goal and put this one away, but on the other side of things for Houston, trying to get one on the board. They had one that was called back in the second, and then of course moments ago Al Conroy had one labeled for the net. But hey, who says that Derek Wilkinson doesn't have eyes in the back of his head?
Well, that's a good move. He was basically down and out, and he wheeled around and threw his arm out. And hey, sometimes you do that and you stop the puck. I mean, who says you have to see it to stop it?
Face off at center. DiPietro against Gregg, and someone's going to be tossed. Was Gregg not set? He was not. So they will bring in Jason Ruff to take the draw. Good look at Paul DiPietro there. No worse for the wear after a 14-hour flight several days ago. Miles O'Connor shoots the puck over the glass and into the Atlanta Knight bench.
I think assistant coach Scott Gordon made a save there.
Yeah, he hasn't made one in a while. It's a nice save for him. Do you like working with him?
Yeah, he's a good coach. He's a very good goaltending coach, and that's what he does as well as assistant coach. He's good on the technical things. He really teaches you where your arms should be, where your feet should be, and that's a good thing for young goaltenders, and that's why Wilkinson, as you can see, has learned a lot.
Unbelievable game tonight from Derek Wilkinson. It is Mark Gregg in behind the net, had it chipped away by DiPietro, but Dubois was there to turn over for Adrian Plavsic. Plavsic left wing, then went away from Arneal. The Knights are in no hurry here. I mean, they'd like to score on the power play, but they're in no hurry. A long lead pass misses Gregg. It'll go behind the Aero net, and we'll have an icing call coming up to Houston. Or maybe to Atlanta, rather, as Houston touches, and the faceoff comes back into the Atlanta Knight zone. 36 seconds left to Malgunas. 11:04 to go in the third, and the Knights lead at 2-0. Miles O'Connor, guy that they were really hoping would be an offensive contributor, and coming into tonight's game, I believe he has just the 1 point. And I know they were hoping for some big things from Miles O'Connor, just the 1 assist he picked up earlier in 8 games.
But there's one thing you have to keep in mind, and that is this is the first meeting in 9 for this team.
Oh, yeah.
These teams, I should say, because they both are in the same division. They'll see each other plenty. They'll be sick of each other by the end of the season.
All right. I've already seen you 9 times, and I'm tired of you. Puck control by the Atlanta Knights. Oh, boy. It came to center for Savage, and he'll give it over to Chris LaPuma. Pass deflected into the Aeros zone. Dobson out of the net, and he'll reverse it along the boards with 18 remaining in the night power play. And the Aeros turn and clear it right back down the ice. LaPuma goes back as he's pursued by Yo, and then Yo picked his pocket. Yo turning in front center. Oh, what a save by Wilkinson again. McCrory at point-blank range, and another goal-stopping save from Derek Wilkinson, and all I can say is wow.
Hey, when you're hot, you're hot. And Wilkinson, I talked to Joe Bacchino, the GM of the Atlanta Knights, and he says Wilkinson has been stellar lately. And Yo feeds perfectly Scott McCrory. And hey, when you open up your glove and you open it up and face the shooter, a lot of times they'll shoot it right in there. And it wasn't a hard shot, but hard enough that it would have made it into the net, but not hard enough to get by Wilkinson. As a great glove save there.
Man, I just sit back and enjoy this one, folks. Oh, is he putting on a clinic? Puck is controlled by the Knights. Julia across the line, looks in front, lets the shot go, and oh, heads up. A little girl up there was not paying attention, but it missed her. But she was a little surprised by that, and the fans scramble for a souvenir. This is what you call the classic goaltending battle. Is hey, that's Trey Wilkins that gets the puck. I know him. He got himself a souvenir.
And you know what?
I gave him those seats. That's my puck.
You know, and you look at things like, you look at goaltenders like Dobson, you look at goaltenders like Wilkinson who are making unbelievable saves. But you know what? This league has gotten so strong that they have to make those kind of saves.
Oh, man. Oh, well. Here come the Aeros. Jakes, DeFreer, bouncing puck, lost control, and it's shot all the way down the ice. Dobson will come out to play it, and he'll reverse it in behind his net. Jakes is there, quick chip along the boards, but Jason Ruff is there. Ruff then is knocked from behind by Freer, puck controlled in front, the shot, and it was missed by Drew Bannister. Dobson might have gotten a piece of it though. Puck back, Ruff, the shot is blocked again, and Turgeon knocked off the puck, and I don't know if that's not obstruction, what is? Guy was going for the puck and he was knocked off it. Now the puck is controlled by the Houston Aeros. Slivchenko across the line. Slivy trying to make his move around LePerrier. Cuts behind the net. It was centered, but turned around by Dubois. Pinching is O'Connor. Rolled it down for Arneal behind the net. A bouncing puck. He's tied up by Dubois. Aeros trying to get it out of the scrum. Slivchenko. It was banked away by Dubois. Came to the near side. Laniel looking for Slivchenko. And now it is Arneal behind the net, fighting for the loose puck. Slivchenko's got it. Slivy pulls up, looking for the pass. Rolled it down. DiPietro's there, battling with Dubois, and then Arneal rolled it down for O'Connor. Aeros with puck possession, but can't get a quality scoring opportunity out of it. O'Connor near corner, sends it back. Here's the chance. Slivchenko makes the move, shoots, hit the crossbar, had it beaten, hit it the crossbar. That's 3 posts tonight by the Aeros. Now Slivchenko again. Slivchenko trying to move around Dubois, cannot do it. It came for Arneal, he was in a scrum, puck clear to the line, and it's out at center ice. Laniel couldn't hold it in. O'Connor trying to sweep it ahead, it came into the Aero zone, offside, and play is halted. 8:43 to go on the third, Knights up 2-0, don't go away.
2-0 Knights as Slivchenko makes a good move around a sliding Eric Dubois, but he rings one right off the crossbar as he has Wilkinson beat. And I tell you what, when you're playing well, you get the breaks like posts and block shots and saves from behind the back and everything.
Terry talking to Dean Warren tonight. I don't know, he's probably a little upset about the Turgeon non-call where he was obstructed with, I guess is the proper terminology. Terry's been on him pretty well. He's been on him tonight, but you know, I got to give Terry credit. Last year, he was on every call when things were going bad, but tonight, I mean, he's had some legitimate gripes, but you know, kept it to a minimum. Puck is in the night zone, icing the call.
I think Terry is looking in the view that you know, you gotta keep going forward. You gotta keep working on things, and if you put too much time into yelling about a call that you know, I've never seen a referee say, well, okay, we'll call it. You know, I mean, you've never seen that.
No.
And you're sure you can yell and let them know that you're not happy with it. But once the yelling is over, I think you got to leave it alone, and he's done a good job at that.
Face-off left of Dobson, and the shots in the third period, 7-1 in the Aeros favor.
And then you said it as we came into the period, Wilkinson could be a big factor in this period, and he has been.
When the game's on the line, there's nobody else you'd want in there. Well, I shouldn't say that. Dobson's been a guy, and there's several others, but I'll tell you, Derek Wilkinson's been the difference tonight. As a shot deflected right on, and another save made by Wilkinson. Oh, man. Somebody get that brick wall in front of the net. Get it out of there. Jim Pack to his own line for Donnelly. Donnelly, a pass, went through skates, and now it is Yo across the line. Yo worked it over to Graham Townsend. Townsend stick handling through traffic, but Barral takes it back, and here come the Knights. Reggie Savage to Barral across the line with Eglin. Alan Eglin right side, jammed it into the corner. Savage there, but Jakes tipped it free. Jakes rolled it off the boards, and Townsend will clear. 7:52 to go in the third period. Knights lead at 2-0, and we get a whistle and a hand pass with 7:49 to go.
Well, like I said, the Aeros need to put some pressure on the Knights, and they have done that. Jakesy, he's been out there strong as well as a lot of the players, and they've worked the puck well down low, and they've done the things that they needed to do. But God, they just can't get the puck by Wilkinson, and he has been phenomenal. Up until the third period, Wilkinson didn't have to be that strong. He had to make a lot of routine saves, but I tell you what, they called on him to make some big ones. The Knights did, and he's made them. Frustrating the Aeros all period.
Jakes slammed it into the Atlanta Knights zone. They're trying to dig it out. Turgeon was in there, but Trulia cleared it. Jakes goes back into his own zone. Time slowly becoming a factor, but the Aeros only down 2-0. Let's keep that in perspective too. Only a 2-0 game. Knights shovel it at center. Valamont back in his own zone, trying to corral the puck. Valamont turning and gallops to center and had his pocket picked and is shot back into the Aeros zone. Jakes goes back. Steve Jakes at center ice, down the left side. Jakes hits the line with Conroy, shoots it ahead for Freer. It goes into the corner. Freer looking for the pass, bumped by LaPerriere, and taken back by Gregg. Chipped it off the boards and rolled it ahead for Christian Campo and cleared to center ice. Puck is there for Carl Valamont. Valamont tipped it for Turgeon, rolled it into the Atlanta zone, but it hit skates, never quite got over the line, and Jeff Tom's trying to turn it around, but Laniel was there, shot it into the Knight zone, but the Knights turn it around. Left to right they come. LaPerriere trying to pop it into the Aero zone, knocked down by O'Connor, and they'll say that he hit it with a high stick. And the faceoff will remain in the Aero zone, and it will be to the right side of Dobson with 6:43 to go in the third. The Knights leading it 2-0.
I think you'll see guys like Christian Campo just trying to get the puck out of their own end and just try to dump it down into the far end, as they'll be content just to keep this clock running, keep the play moving, and just try and stay strong defensively.
Campo wore the ice shield last year.
He did. He doesn't have it on this year. He's a player that's improved every single year as his career moves on.
Face off right side of Dobson. DiPietro wins the draw, and it is Miles O'Connor trying to get it out of the end. Bounced it, but not out. Held in by Toms, out of the net Dobson, and he'll chip it along the boards. Near side Arniel trying to get it out of there, cannot. Laniel will reverse it over to the far boards for Slivchenko, and Vadim got it out at center for Paul DiPietro. He'll shoot the puck in. Arniel goes in after it. Scott Arniel bumped off the puck, and then given a rough ride into the boards, and the Knights turn and clear. Now Atlanta, Jeff Toms across the line. O'Connor is back, gathers in the puck, and he will skate in behind his net. O'Connor, a pass for Arniel, hooked it out at center for DiPietro. Give it to Slivchenko, rolled off his stick. Slivchenko trying to move around Plavsic, cannot do it, but then Slivchenko got it back. Centered, stop, rebound in front. We're going to get a penalty coming up to the Atlanta Knights. And it will be a holding call. And now with just under 6 minutes to go in the third and a 2-0 hockey game, I would venture a guess that this is as big a power play for the Aeros if they want any chance of winning this game.
You know, when you just had DiPietro out there with Arniel, they were in front of the net, and they were being held as they were trying to get to the puck. And Slivchenko did a good job of moving it in front, but there's a lot of holding going on in front there, as Arniel just couldn't get his stick loose. And then it goes by Laniel, and after that the play was called as an Atlanta Knight player picked it up. A good job by Slivchenko of dumping it in front there and causing some traffic. causing some commotion, but the Aeros just couldn't get a stick on it. I can't say that it was a good penalty, but it did negate a scoring chance. And like we said, if they know that the Aeros aren't going to get a goal on their power plays, they're probably going to try and just negate anything.
0 for 7 power play. They were 0 for 7 Friday night against the Vipers, so that is 0 for their last 14 in the last 2 games. Trying to get that to be a 1. Conroy at center ice. He will drill it into the Atlanta Knights zone. Hard along the boards. Laniel pinching left side. Redirected behind the net. LaPuma cleared. Nobody there for Houston, so Conroy will go back to his own blue line to play. Puck on edge. Oh, didn't get it out of the zone. Mark Gregg's got it. The Knights already have one shorthanded goal, but then Gregg was scooped off the puck by Freer, and away the Aeros come. Al Conroy to center ice. Conroy hammers it into the Atlanta Knight zone. Hard along the boards. Freer waiting for it into the corner. Now it is Freer, base of the right circle. Freer getting set at the hash marks to the line. Conroy, wide, shoots, deflected wide of the net. Laniel trying to gather it in behind the cage. Arneal waiting, centered the shot, blocked in front. It never made it to Wilkinson, and the Knights clear it. Now Laniel trying to play it. He had his pocket picked by Baral, cutting in with a shot. Oh man, it got behind Dobson, but never crossed the line.
Wow, we've had a couple shots that have just rolled by the line, but Dobson gets all over that one as the knob of his stick. And I'm sure Baral is saying, yeah, that went in the net, but you know what? I can't even tell you whether it did. I don't think it did.
No.
And it's, we'll see it on the replay.
I think it was on the line, but it never went all the way
so.
over.
Laniel was all over it as he gets pulled down by Baral, and then he gets a shot. The puck will just drop down behind Dobson, and then it'll just start rolling. And Dobson, look at the knob, just get the knob of his stick. It didn't get the knob of his stick, but it did Laniel. Laniel shoves it underneath Dobson, and you know what? The rule is the whole puck has to go over the line. So even if it's half a puck over the line, you have to get the entire puck over the line. It didn't even touch the red line, I don't think. So a good job by Laniel playing goalie there, and he just shoves it underneath Dobson. And I think Baral was trying to get a sneaky call there as he lifts his stick up, knowing it wasn't in the net. But you never know. With one goal disallowed, they might allow a goal that is not actually a goal. You never know. It's if you can't see the puck, it's hard to make the call.
Good golly, Miss Molly. What next? Aeros needing a goal. They have 50 on the power play. Puck shot ahead for DiPietro across the line. Paul DiPietro pulls up right side. Looked to pass for Slivchenko. Tipped it back for Jakes. Steve Jakes teetering the blue line. Sends it for Slivchenko. Vadim Slivchenko back to the line. O'Connor, the shot right on. Ooh, bobbled the glove there, and then Turgeon gets in there, and everybody gathering in there. And Wilkinson just keeps his cool. I don't know if that would have counted had he batted that out of there, but hey, you take the chance.
You never know, but the puck did flip up in the air, and Wilkinson grabbed it as O'Connor showing that, you know, that's the best thing he can do is just fire the puck in there. He didn't take a slap shot. All he had time was for a little wrist shot. And O'Connor got the puck in there after getting a feed from the corner. And all it takes is a snapshot if there's a good screen, and there's plenty of players in front. But Turgeon tried to get the puck out of the air after Wilkinson made the save. And you notice Wilkinson right now, and quite a bit lately, has been going down on his knees, pretending to, you know, fix his pads and fix a strap or two. That's a good ploy by a lot of goalies. You'll see them do that. It helps slow the play down. And if his team's getting a lot of shots taken on him, he'll pretend that his strap's loose. He'll, you know, do it up and all this, take some time, give his team a rest. And Wilkinson's good at that, as you've seen right there, taking some time. I don't know whether they really needed it or not.
Off the draw, Aeros have it. Jakes sends it down. They got just over half a minute on the power play. It is Slivchenko for Jakes. Give it to Slivchenko. Hash marks right side. Look for the pass to Jakes. Back to the line. Shot deflected though. And it came into the corner. Jason Ruff will turn. He will hoist it to the line. And held in by Jakes. Jakes pounds it down for DiPietro in the corner. Centered it. The shot right on. Stop Wilkinson. Puck came out in front. And the Knights will clear it. Jason Ruff at center ice, and the power play is over, and teams are at 5 aside, and the Aeros are now 0 for 8 on the power play. Jakes worked it out at center, and Plavsic goes back to his own zone to Dubois, right side, and it's out at center ice. Laniel for Vadim Slivchenko. Slivy turning it center ice, trying to skate away from Eglin, and he handed the puck right to Eglin. Eglin right in, the shot deflected behind the net, and the Aeros will turn it around. Slivchenko skating to center ice. He will shoot it into the Atlanta zone, and Plavsic goes back. 3:20 to go in the third, 2-0 Atlanta. Puck rolled to Julia near side. Scooped it to the line, not out, held in by Laniel, turns it down into the corner for Malgunas, trying to center, but Julia the only one there, and he'll gently give it to Greg, but not out of the zone. Laniel, a shot deflected. Now it's McCrory in the near circle, rolled it behind the cage for Yo, base in the right circle. His pass taken away by Plavsic, and Eglin will clear it down the ice. Laniel with under 3 to go in the third. Mark Laniel skating to center, and we've got Eglin getting into it with Malgunas. They continue to grind it out. Are they going to go? Are they going to go? Yeah, they continue to grapple here. Continue. Are they going to fight? Hold on, linesman waiting. Are they going to get? Yes, they will. And a little rock and roll going, and we take timeout. 2:50 to go. 2-0 Atlanta. We'll be back. 2-0, the Knights leading the Aeros, and the city of Atlanta must really be happy because not only are the Knights leading 2-0, but I guess the Braves are leading in the 7th 4-2. So party on if you live in Atlanta. The shots on goal for Houston 13-2, but I don't think that too really indicates how well the Knights have played. They've really clamped down defensively, number one, but number two, when they haven't, it seems like the guy to my left, Derek Wilkinson, has been the stalwart in front. I mean, he has made some saves, and all you can do is stand there and just wonder, wow, he has been unbelievable.
And one thing you'll see as the period grows on, it's only 2:50 left in the game, but you'll see the Knights working harder defensively as they'll try and get Wilkinson the shutout, because when a goaltender plays that well for you, you want to reward him as well with his shutout. And I'm gonna call it right now. You're probably gonna see all kinds of things happening, like block shots and holding and all kinds of crazy stuff in front of the net if the Aeros get down there long enough.
And I think within the next 50, well, about next minute or so, I think you're going to see Dobson to the bench if the Aeros need to, which they probably will. Puck goes into the Knight zone. Alcides rolled it along the boards. O'Connor pinching right side, battling in there with Reggie Savage. Kicked it free. They continue to grind it out, and then O'Connor takes his man down, and play is whistled down. And John Parrish Jr., the head coach, doing his best Terry Ruskowski imitation, putting the hands up going, why? Where's the penalty?
Well, we've seen plenty of penalties tonight, and now you see Dobson come off as the faceoff will come down into the Knight zone. You see Dobson coming off the bench after a heck of a game. Another strong performance for Dobson, and you'll see the extra attacker is Sylvain Turgeon, and he's a good player to put out there on the extra man.
Who was that in front of the net? Was that me? Be the same thing. Face off left side of Derek Wilkinson. Freer with Arneal, DiPietro, Turgeon with Laniel and O'Connor. Off the face-off, Aeros have it. Miles O'Connor cuts it over, but he threw it right to Baralt, and he'll clear it down the ice. Now O'Connor has to chase it in his own zone. Rolled it over to Mark Laniel, and it's O'Connor behind the net. Miles O'Connor, a pass for Laniel. Steers it near side. Turgeon trying to bring it in, but it was rejected. To the line, not out. Arneal shot it in deep. Makuma back behind the cage. He will fire it hard off the boards. O'Connor trying to hold it in. He was muscled by Savage. Aeros trying to control. They cannot, and the Knights will come to center. The net is empty, and it's rolled down into the Aeros zone, and Baralt goes back to play it. Under 2 minutes to go. O'Connor takes his man into the boards, and it's played by Freer. Pass to the right side for Al Conroy. Conroy to center ice. A pass for Arneal as he hits the line. Gives to Freer right in. The shot. Oh, and he fired it wide of the net. Jake's left point. The shot deflected. It's a bouncing puck and cleared. Not out. Held in by Jakes. Right side for Laniel. Down low. Aeros move it. Freer behind the net. Trying to find the pass. Nobody in front though. Freer waiting. It's centered. And it was tucked into the skates of Derek Wilkinson. And play is halted with 1:26 to go in the third. And a 2-0 Knight lead.
I'm wondering if you'll see Wilkinson go for it if he gets a chance. Earlier this year in the American Hockey League, Rob Stauber, who used to play for the Los Angeles Kings and then was traded to the Buffalo Sabres, now plays for Rochester in the American Hockey League. He scored a goal, and he's obviously a goaltender. Fired it all the way down the ice and got a goal.
Have you ever seen it live?
Tell you the truth, no, I've never seen a goalie score a goal live, but I tell you what, I've seen plenty of replays, and they're exciting.
Timeout being called by the Aeros with 1:26 to go in the third. I want to tell you a story. My second year of doing hockey in Tacoma, junior hockey, and of course Alan Eglin was on that team. But late in the game against the Moose Jaw Warriors, our goaltender, Jeff Calvert, who, by the way, was part of the Aeros camp last year. Jeff Calvert took a puck, fired it so high in the air, went over everybody's head, bounced it center circle, and there was no way anyone could catch it. Went into the net. It was the most incredible thing I've ever seen, seeing a goaltender score it. And in fact, later that year, another goalie in the Western Hockey League scored a goal. I can't think of the name right now, but he played for Washington. Played for the Red Deer Rebels. No, okay. I know you're talking Ole Kolzig. I was part of that too.
Kolzig's had a goal himself, and of course, the first one to score one in the NHL, Ron Hextall. He actually has 2 now.
Well, folks, give blood, play hockey, or better yet, give blood and watch the Aeros play hockey. November 4th, visit the Aerodrome, Summit, or Billy Blues and donate blood. You'll receive a coupon good for $2 off an $8 ticket to the Aeros games on November 4th or 5th, as well as complimentary skating pass to the Aerodrome. Be one of the first 100 at either location. You'll receive a Give Blood, Play Hockey Houston Aeros t-shirt. Face off, right side of Derek Wilkinson, DiPietro, Conroy, Arneal, Slivchenko with O'Connor and Turgeon. You think there's any speed on that forward front there?
Well, right now they don't need speed, they need touch. Yeah. And they got to get it deep and then get some shots from the point by Turgeon and O'Connor.
Lots of time if they can get one here. 1:26 to go. The net is empty. O'Connor, the shot stuck aside by Wilkinson, and the puck is out of play.
And you'll probably see Wilkinson do that a lot, and that is deflect the pucks as much as he can up and away. As if it goes out of the rink, it's a stoppage of play. But even if it doesn't, it gives his defenseman a chance to react and jump on that loose puck and dump it down the ice. And I don't think they'll be going for a goal right now, but I think they just want to clear it out of the zone, because one goal will turn this into a new hockey game.
DiPietro wins the draw to O'Connor, left side, lets the shot go, missed it wide of the net. Turgeon turns it down, a bouncing puck in front. DiPietro tried to center, and it's another shot that bounces in there. Conroy, base of the circle for Slivchenko, trying to pop it out in front for DiPietro, but it was swatted away, but DiPietro got it back into the near corner. Paul DiPietro behind the net, trying to center, it was banked away, and here come the Knights. An empty net for Julia if he can get there, but good play by Conroy to take it loose. Under a minute to go. Aeros need 2 of them. They're down 2-0. Arneal hands it back. Conroy rolled it to Miles O'Connor. Out at center ice, Slivchenko. It hit skates and went out of play, and face-off will be at center ice. 44 seconds to go. 2-0 Knights, and Scott Arneal barking instructions. Terry Ruskowski making a line change and trying to get a combination out there that can get him 2 goals in 44 seconds. And with a face-off at center, he says, let's get Dobson back in there just for safety.
Well, you have the face-off at center ice, like you said. You don't want to get too cute. We saw him. I'm trying to think of the game. What it was, I think it was against Cincinnati. I think he pulled Gamble about 6 minutes left in the third period. Today he tried it with 2 minutes, so now he's going to go back to the safety with Dobson back in there for now.
Now Dobson will come to the bench after the Aeros hammer it into the zone. Dubois swept it along the near side, but not out. Yo held it in. Down in behind that, but Plavsic rolled it along the boards. Jason Rumpf and Slivchenko go barreling in after, but Mark Gregg will clear it down the ice. It'll miss the empty net. And if the Aeros hustle, they'll have some time because it's icing. And Laniel is there in a face-off brought back into the Knight zone with 21 seconds to go in this third period. And the Knights lead it 2-0. And this will be, if the Aeros can't score, will be the first time they have been shut out. It will bring an end to their 2-game winning streak. And it will set up a very tough contest for Houston on Wednesday when they travel to Kalamazoo to face the Michigan K-Wings, the top team in the IHL, as they are, well, I shouldn't say top team, they're undefeated, but they don't have the most points, but they're still undefeated at 4-0-2. So that, as far as I'm concerned, though, they are 1 point shy of Cincinnati, who's played about 4 more games.
And the thing is, you always want to win your home games, because that's what they say about home ice advantage. You want to win those games. And, you know, so far it's been pretty good, but you want to continue that.
Face off, won by the Aeros. Laniella shot, stuck aside Wilkinson. Puck in front. Here's the shot. It hit skates. And the Knights rough, trying to clear, not out. A backhander's blocked, and the puck squirts to center. Laniel at neutral ice shoots it in. Delayed offsides on the Aeros. They don't know it. And it's cleared by Drulia all the way down the ice. 3 seconds left. It will be icing as the Aeros hustle back just as the buzz. No. There's a 1/10 of a second left.
Oh, my goodness.
A 1/10 of a second.
Well, I've never seen a goal scored with 1/10 of 1 second.
And I've
left.
never seen 2.
That's true. That's unfortunate, because the Aeros needed another win to climb out of the cellar. And of course, coming off a game, the 2 games they did, and also with the Knights coming off the games that they did, it'd have been a good opportunity.
So they dropped the puck, and this hockey game is over. And that man right there, Derek Wilkinson, largely responsible for the Knights' win. He snaps the 2-game losing skid. The Aeros' 2-game winning streak is over. But I think even though the Aeros cannot be happy with their offensive jump in this, I think the worst is behind them as far as what we saw in those first 6 games.
Well, I don't think you'll see another 5-6 game skid. I think the big thing with the Aeros right now is what they have to do is they have to turn their skids into one-gamers, and then win 2 or 3, then maybe drop 1 or lose 1 in a shootout or win some in the shootout, stuff like that. You can't go on too many losing streaks.
All right, 2-0 Knights win it, and we'll have more from the Summit when we return. The Atlanta Knights defeat the Houston Aeros 2-0 tonight at the Summit. And it is time to take a look at tonight's Texaco star of the game. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this one out. Derek Wilkinson, 41 saves tonight, allowing no goals, gets the shutout. First time the Aeros were shut out. And I know you played with him last year for a little bit, and tonight he just put on another show.
He did put on a clinic tonight. Like I said, for the first 2 periods, he didn't have to be stellar. He had to be very consistent. But then for the 3rd period, he made some saves that really turned this game around. And you see he has 230 saves for the season. I believe he leads the league in saves with that. So another good performance by Derek Wilkinson, a very good young goaltender. A lot of people think he might get the call up to Tampa pretty soon.
Knights win it 2-0, and now we'll take a look at tonight's Gatorade play of the game. And there were a lot of them to choose from, but Rob Dobson made some key saves on a 2-0 early in the first period.
Well, Dobson made a good save. This kept his team in it. And as he gets his paddle on that save, a great save on a 2-0. You don't want to see too many 2-0s, but when you do, you'd love to stop them.
All right, 2-0 the final, and I'll tell you, if for those of you that maybe have ever been in Canada and watched the TSN Turning Point, I think it would definitely be that goal that was no goal. I mean, to this moment, a fact's a fact. The puck crossed the line before that net became dislodged. I would love to hear Dean Warren's explanation. I can't imagine for the life of me what the explanation could possibly be. If he said he lost sight of the puck, then he's got to have help from his linesman.
Well, I think that is his call, but I mean, I think anyone who is watching that play, even in fast motion, I know we have the benefit of the replay, but even in fast motion and regular play, there's no way that even if their player did dislodge the net as he kicked it in, I'm not going to have to look up the rules on this one, but I believe he can still call it a goal because Slivchenko shot the puck and then was nowhere near the net. Their own player knocked the puck in, then knocked the net off. So it doesn't matter which happened first, I believe. So, well, I don't know. I'll have to look that one up, but it was obviously a goal. It just wasn't called a goal.
Let's take a look at tonight's final stats. They're brought to you by your local Texas Dodge dealers. Aeros outshoot the Knights 41-26. So the Knights, who are now 6-4 of the 10 games, 9 of them they've been outshot in. Aeros, that is the big number. 0 for 8 on the power play. They are now 0 for 15 in their last 2 games. I mean, even if you try and find a ray of sunshine in the power play, kind of tough when you're 0 of 8 tonight to find anything. I know that Terry's going to continue with his system, but he, I'm sure, will look to making some changes when they get to Kalamazoo. And then the final penalties: 11 for 22 for the Knights. Aeros 10 for 20. Mike, thanks for your help tonight.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun, except for the final score, obviously.
All right, the Aeros' next game will be Wednesday night from Michigan as they take on the Michigan K-Wings. And our next Prime Sports Houston Aeros Network game will be Friday night at 7 o'clock when Houston hosts the Las Vegas Thunder. Once again, tonight's final score: the Atlanta Knights 2, Houston Aeros 0. For Mike Greenlay, this is Adam Gordon saying good night from the Summit.